What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Cris Style
Ammo.
Podcast, episode 163, Big Energy Monday. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. Whatever you're doing, you're at home, you're at work. Hope you're having a good day. If you're listening on the playback, we appreciate you too.
Yep.
Uh, we got the NFL draft just happened, so we got a lot to talk about in that. There's a lot of headlines in that. We're gonna get into some NBA playoffs. Also, gonna talk about a few other headlining topics. Shannon Sharpe, some WWE story that was kind of funny, and some college basketball stuff too. Maul, what is going on, brother?
Not much, man. Had a good weekend, bro. Went to a barbecue yesterday. Shout out to my boy Ron. You know what I mean? Always throwing it down. His mom's good seeing all the peoples and stuff like that. Um, yeah, man. So it was a really good weekend, man. How was everything, man? Last couple of days.
It's cool, man. At work, putting in these hours. Slow
How was
motion.
that? Slow
Slow
motion.
motion. Yeah,
Yeah.
not really got nothing going on. But hey, man, glad to have a job, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Always gotta be blessed. Stay blessed with that for sure. Big weekend, got boxing. I'm sure we'll get all into that Wednesday and stuff like
Yeah,
that. A
yeah,
lot of big fights coming up, but man, I'm
yeah.
excited to talk about what happened over the weekend, man. So let's get to it.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about the draft. I'm gonna pull this up. Um, let's get into the first round because that's been it was heavily talked about. You know,
Yeah,
since what the Super Bowl after the Super Bowl happened.
yeah,
You get right into the draft. You speculate who's going where, who's going first, who's not going first, who's dropping, whose stock is rising. Then you have the combine, and that kind of booster things up. Senior bowls and East West Shrine bowls and stuff, and guys stick out or whatever, and they boosted their draft stock. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? So, and in the draft, you always have surprises. You always have some player that we never expected to get to the first round, and like, how the hell did he get in there? Or
yeah,
we're like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
now we all knew the consensus. Cam Ward was going to be the number one overall pick. That
Hmm.
was the consensus. That's been the consensus. He was going to go to the Tennessee Titans. But then the second round or the second pick, Cleveland had that pick, and we were speculating that Travis Hunter was going there. Now, Travis Hunter did go second overall, but it was Jacksonville who made a trade with Cleveland
Hmm.
to get an extra pick. I think they got one next year too. Um, but Jacksonville ended up drafting Travis Hunter, and then it was kind of like, it kind of went how we kind of called it. New York got Abdul Carter, New England got Will Campbell, um, Cleveland ended up getting Mason Graham. Your Las Vegas Raiders got Ashton Genty. New
Hmm.
York got Armand Mimbu. Carolina got Ted McMillan. It could have been Javon Walker, but they end up going with the offensive side. I was surprising that Kelvin Banks went this early to the Saints. I thought they would go maybe defensive line here, but they want to show up their offensive line, so I kind of get it. And then Chicago went Colston Loveland. San Francisco went Michael Williams. Uh, the Cowboys went Tyler Booker. I know a lot of Cowboy fans weren't happy about that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Miami Dolphins get Kenneth Grant. The Colts got Tyler Warren. Atlanta got Jalen Walker. Arizona got Walter Nolan. Cincinnati got Shamar Stewart.
Hmm.
Seattle got Gray Zabel. Tampa got Amika Ibuka. I was surprised by that pick. Denver Broncos got Jade Barron. Pittsburgh got Derek Harmon. Los Angeles Chargers got Armand Hampton. Green Bay Packers got Matthew Golden. Minnesota Vikings got Donovan Jackson. The Giants trade back into the first round and got quarterback Jackson Dart. Atlanta trade back into the first round and got James Pierce Jr. The Ravens got Malachi Starks. Detroit Lions got Talik Williams. Washington Commanders got Josh Connolly Jr. Buffalo Bills got Maxwell Harrison. Philadelphia, actually, the Chiefs and the Eagles switched picks, which gave the Chiefs an extra fifth round pick. The
Hmm.
Eagles end up getting Jahai Campbell. They really wanted him. And then the Chiefs end up drafting offensive lineman Josh Simmons. Now, we all know the elephant in the room, Shador Sanders.
Hmm.
The consensus were he was going to be the second quarterback too. But
Hmm.
then there was a lot of buzz about Jackson Dart, Jackson Dart, Jackson Dart.
Hmm.
But even with Jackson Dart, we still expected Shador to possibly still go in the first round. Maybe it's going to be 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round. But
Yeah.
that ended up happening.
Mhm.
He ended up dropping to the fifth round. We'll get into that in a minute. But Jackson Dart ended up going to the Giants. But overall, these in this first round, what was your? I know we did the watch party. We kind of gave a
Yeah.
quick thought
Mhm.
of what we thought of the first round. But now sitting
Yeah.
on it, what were
Mhm.
your overall thoughts of the first round?
I'll start off. I ain't gonna lie. I'm still a bit surprised that the Browns traded to get the opportunity to get Travis Hunter. Like initially when they did do the trade, it's like I was surprised, but I kind of understood because my whole perception was is that they were gonna try to go more towards next year's QB crop class because everybody expects that will be better, even if Manning comes out or not. If Arch Manning comes out or not, people do like that draft a little bit better as far as like with the quarterbacks. So I was like, I was surprised because Travis Hunter is such an elite talent that we don't get to see in these drafts a lot, especially with his combination of playing cornerback and receiver at a top level. But at the same time, I also kind of see the vision. And I know we're going to talk about a little bit about the rest of the draft, but as the draft kind of progressed and the Browns, their weekend ended, I just have more questions, what I mean, about what their direction is. So yeah, so after sitting on this weekend, I'm still a little perplexed on why they did that because I really don't know the direction. As far as like everybody else, like I really liked what the Giants did. Obviously, I think that was an easy pick. Abdul Carter. I'm not mad at Will Campbell going to fourth. I really truly expected that. You already have your quarterback. You have to protect Drake May. You know what I mean? We already seen him go down with a concussion injury. I think that's your number one solution with that. And then obviously, they solidified a lot of stuff on that defensive side. So that wasn't really a big thing for them. So I really do like what the Patriots did first round. Them and Browns ended up getting Mason Graham. I'm not mad at that. I don't think it was like their biggest need in a sense because I think their defensive line isn't really that bad. Obviously, you can always add depth to it, but obviously with the pairing with Graham and I don't know, I keep slipping my man's name.
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. Obviously, that's going to be a force to be reckoned with because we all know the talent that Mason Graham is, especially on the inside, and what he did with Michigan. Y'all saw my reaction on Thursday. Y'all know how I feel about Ashton Jeanty. I'm truly excited. I know there's been some people that have that questioned the pick as far as like, they don't think it's kind of like a similar situation with Saquon Barkley with the New York Giants and that we don't have the offensive line to, see the production of what Ashton Jeanty could be. I truly disagree with that. I think we had a lot of injuries on our offensive line, especially, with Jackson Powers and some of the other guys. A lot of those guys came in midway through the season. And then we had a coaching firing. Like a lot of stuff happened where I don't think we saw what our true O-line can be. We also obviously added depth later on in the rounds, but I think we're going to see the true depth with Ashton Jeanty. So I was really excited about that and how that went. Keep going down. I was a little surprised with the Colston Loveland pick. I probably would have preferred Tyler Warren. I understand that Colston Loveland, he's a hell of a talent. I'm not trying to disregard. He just has a lot of injury concerns for me. I think Tyler Warren would have been the safer pick. I think talent-wise, they're both on the same level. Obviously, they're a little bit different, but I just think with the toughness of Tyler Warren and just the ability of him staying healthy that I feel more comfortable with, I probably would have went that way, but I totally understand. I think Mikael Williams was a little bit of a reach with that. I'm surprised they didn't go corner with San Francisco, but it is what it is. Cowboys, I feel sorry for you. Like I like Tyler Booker, but I just think they needed more offensive help. You know what I mean? I still think they need offensive help even after the whole weekend is ended. I agree with you. I still don't understand the Emeka. It's not even about Emeka. I think Emeka is going to be a hell of a talent. I just don't understand because they have a solid 4 already as far as like receivers. I know we kind of talked about it on the cast that maybe it's them kind of like gearing up for the transition of getting away from Mike Evans. Obviously, they value him so much. He's a staple to that organization, but we all know that he is getting older. And just keep going down. Like Amarian Hampton, I think he was a steal. I think Matthew Golden, I think they definitely needed an upgrade on the receiver. And I'm not surprised with Jackson Dart. I told Chris a long time ago before this draft process even started that Jackson Dart, I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson Dart got talked to as being the second pick in this draft. And it makes sense. Like, I personally would have preferred Shador Sanders, but let's be honest, Brian Daboll, he was gonna fall in love with Jackson Dart. He just sees Josh Allen in him. I probably wouldn't compare him. I probably wouldn't put him on that level. I think he's more of like a Sam Darnold. Like he has potential, but he has a lot of work to do. But if anybody can develop him, you would assume it would be Brian Daboll because obviously when Josh Allen was coming in, he needed a lot of development, and look where Josh Allen is now. So if you're a New York Giants fan, I wouldn't be mad. I still would have preferred Shador Sanders, but I understand. I get it. You know what I mean? Atlanta Hawks with James Pierce. I think you add him with what they had already. I think that's a great haul for them as well. So and then Jahad Campbell. What can I say? The Eagles just get richer. You know what I mean? The Eagles just get richer. And then we all know with your Chiefs, man, we all kind of expect Josh Simmons to just get picked where he was at. So overall, man, it was kind of it was definitely an entertaining first round. I would say that. I would not complain. I know most of the first rounds are pretty much chalk, but this was one of the more interesting first round drafts that we've had in a while.
Yeah. I do look, I get what Atlanta was trying to do, but I don't think they needed to trade in the first round and give up what they gave up to get James.
I agree. I thought he might have still been there in second round, early second round.
Yeah, even if he wasn't, you still had like a Donovan Araku still sitting
Mike
there.
Green,
Yeah, Mike Green, like you had some guys that can get after the passer. So that was my only question with Atlanta, but I get it. They trying to show up that defensive line. I get it, but they still might be a liability against the run. So I like what Arizona did with Walter Nolan. You know what I'm saying? You got your him and Calais Campbell are going to be a nice little tandem. Calais Campbell could be a good mentor to Walter Nolan. Cincinnati Bengals, I get Shamar Stewart. He's either going to be Danielle Hunter or he's going to be what's your boy Clowney?
Yeah, I can see that.
Because he's got all the potential in the world. He's got all that skill, but it is kind of scary that, and a lot of guys on that Texas A&M defensive line have this question that they weren't very productive. Like they don't have the stats to show how good. Because Nick Scorrigan, he's another one that's like that. It's just like, yeah, we know you guys are talented, but we don't see it on. We can't. I don't have the stats and the tape to back it up. So like it's in flashes. You know what I'm saying? So I get what they were trying to do, but they're another one that probably could have got somebody else that was a little bit more sure. Maybe a Mike Green. I get Mike Green's off the field stuff kind of messed with him, but still, they probably could have got somebody else. I like what Seattle did. Gray Zabel, they shoring up their offensive line. You definitely got to keep Sam Darnold protected. Keep him upright, especially up the middle. That's what was going on with the Vikings. A lot of his problems was the pocket was collapsing on him later in the season, and he gets a little flustered. Buffalo Bill, I like Maxwell Harrenstein, but I think they could have easily just went your boy Will Johnson right here.
Yeah, man. Like I get it. Like I you keep hearing that people are in so fear of his injury with his knee. But I think he'll be fine, man. You know what I mean? I understand, but Will Johnson before the injury, bro, he was consensus one of the best corners in the whole nation, bro. We saw the dominance that he did when they won the national championship. We saw some of the dominance that he had before the injury. So I understand, like you might have a little fear of it, but to justify him dropping where he dropped, me personally, I would have took Will Johnson. I think Will Johnson is just a talent, and I think medicine is just too good nowadays with these knee injuries that you see a lot of people bounce back and they'll be fine. So I don't think there should be worries about that.
I'm not mad. Look, I get people think Tyler Warren is better than Colston Loveland. They got his issues with the whole injuries and stuff like that. But I just think that Colston Loveland fits the offense that Ben Johnson wants to run. Like I don't think Warren is the type of tight end that he wants. I think Colston Loveland is more closer to Sam Laporta than Tyler Warren is. So I think that's how he was looking at it. I get that you don't think he's the better tight end, and maybe he's not. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, the injuries again. But I also think Colson Loveland suffered from having poor quarterback play too.
Nah, yeah, nah. Look, I'm not saying like, look, I'm not saying like Colston Loveland is worse. I low key think if they both stay healthy, I think they're both the same tier. I think they're both can be
Mhm.
great tight ends. It's just in the sense like I understand like Colston Loveland is more of like stretching the field out stuff like that. But I think Warren can do that too. Like
Yeah.
I like we gotta understand what the Penn State offense was like. What I mean, Penn State offense is pretty much a run first offense. Like they're not
Mhm.
really the greatest passing offense in the nation. But I just think you would have got more physicality. I think you would have got more durability. Like I'm not mad at the Colston Loveland pick. I'm not mad at it at all. If he can stay healthy, I think Colston Loveland is going to be nice, especially with that offense, because I truly believe that they have so much creativity that could get, especially the addition of Luther Burden. They got so much depth on that
Mhm.
offense now. Like their offense should be legit. Like this is on Caleb Williams now. There's no more excuses for Caleb Williams at this point. Like I think you got a solidified offense. I think you got a nice running game. Your defense is going to be obviously a little better. You got the play caller now. The pressure's all on Caleb Williams. Like there's really no excuses. Like the Bears should really be competing for that division. It's just straight as facts. So
Yeah, I agree. Uh, let's go to the second round and look
yeah.
at what it went on in the second.
Mm-hmm.
Um, come on. All right. Jaden Higgins going to the Texans. That was a great pickup. He's going to pair nicely with Nico Collins. Both of them are taller wide receivers. So now you got a basketball team out there on both sides.
Yeah.
um, Nick Amorora is a good safety for
Mm-hmm.
Seattle. He's going to add to that safety room. And plus they got those corners. They're all tall corners. He's a physical freak himself, so
Yeah.
um, they're going to be a tall secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's going to be hard. Quinshawn Juggins. I was surprised that Cleveland went Quinshawn Juggins, but I kind of get
Mm-hmm.
it. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
closer to a Nick Chubbs than Henderson is. So I think he's more the rugged, tough, in between the tackles type. And then later on, we'll talk about that later pick that they got. It really makes sense with the guy that they got later. So
Yeah.
um, Travion Henderson, I was a little surprised New England didn't go wide receiver here. I would have went Luther Burden here because they still
Yeah.
need a number one wide receiver. Like I get they
Yeah.
got Stephon Diggs, and I don't,
Mhm.
we don't know what he's gonna look like coming out the ACL.
True. True. True.
He is 32 years old. He's not
Yeah.
22.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's true.
So I would have probably put Luther Burden there, but I get Travion Henderson. He's going to be a home run hitter for them. Luther Burden going to Chicago. At first, I was kind of confused because it was just like, all right, there's only so many footballs that can go around. You got DJ Moore, you got Roma Dunze, you just added Colston Loveland. But hey, you got to add more weapons for Caleb Williams. You can put Luther Burden in the slot and let him work. So I'm cool
Mm-hmm.
with that. Um, I don't know what New Orleans is doing with Tyler Skull. This dude is 26 years old. Um, yeah, he was to give y'all context. He was the backup quarterback for Justin Herbert when he was at Oregon.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Maybe it works, but
Mhm.
anytime these older quarterbacks come into this league, they never work.
Yeah.
They never work. So
Yeah.
because and they look good because they're men playing a bunch against a bunch of kids.
That's true.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
So um TJ Sanders going to Buffalo, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I actually like TJ Sanders. He's going to be a good anchor in that middle. He was an anchor on that South Carolina defensive line. Uh, Mason Taylor going to the Jets. That's a good pickup. They need a tight end, especially with Justin Fields. He needs somebody in the middle of the field that can make it easy for him for the short throws in the middle of the field. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's good. Alfred Collins going to San Francisco. That's another big body defensive tackle, run stuffing defensive tackle
Mm-hmm.
that they'll use in that run game. Donovan Ezaraku going to Dallas. I actually like this pick for Dallas. They got to replace Dexter Lawrence. I know they need offense. I know they do. But if you're going to replace Dexter Lawrence, Donovan Ezaraku is a good pickup.
Yeah.
Uh, JTT, that's what I call him because I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
I love this
Uh,
pick.
I like this pick for the Colts. The Colts had a really good draft. I think they
They
had a
did.
very underrated draft.
Hmm.
People not a lot of people not talking about the Colts. I think the Colts have had one of the better off seasons
Yeah, me too. I agree.
since since the off season has started. So
Hmm.
the Colts are something. It's really just comes down to Anthony Richardson.
Yo, yeah, yeah, it do. It do.
It really just comes down to Anthony Richardson.
Hmm.
Um, Terrence Ferguson, another tight end that nobody's talking about because the Oregon, that offense is so stacked with fast guys, and you know how they run their offense that I don't think he really got a chance to show what he could do. But this guy's he's really good. He's got good hands. He can block. I think this is a good pickup for the Rams. Um, the Cardinals getting Will Johnson is a steal. That's the best thing I
Yeah,
get. That's the best way I get
yeah,
it. It's a steal. If he can get healthy, they got their corner. They got their number one corner.
they did.
Houston Texans getting Ursay, Kansas City kid. This was a good pickup. They need offensive line. He's going to be their, I guess, their right tackle. But they finally getting their offensive line together. So this was a good pickup for them. Once again, the Bengals. I didn't get this. I think there were better linebackers on the board, and there were better defensive linemen
Hmm.
that they could
Hmm.
have got than
Yeah,
Demetrius Knight Jr. I don't know. I didn't like it. That was me. I would have
yeah.
picked Nick Corrigan if I was them. But
Right, right.
it is. I mean, you might as well pair both Texas A&M guys together. You
Yeah,
know what
might
I'm
as well.
saying?
Yeah, they'll be very very familiar with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and
Yeah.
then if they both hit, then you have
Mhm.
one of the top D lines in on the AFC side for sure.
Right. Right.
With
So
Trevor Henderson.
yeah. Elijah Aurora, he's another tight end who killed it at the Senior Bowl. He was smoking everybody on that line. I
Mhm.
think this is a good pick for Seattle. You have more weapons for Sam Darnold. That's
Yeah.
always a good thing. I'm gonna go down. Anthony Belton going to the Green Bay Packers. He's a pretty good offensive lineman. Trey Harris going to the Chargers. This kid is nice, man. I loved him at Ole Miss. He was Jackson Dart's number one wide receiver, and when this dude was on the field, it was a difference. When
Yeah.
he wasn't on the field, you can tell. This
Yeah.
dude is he's a big body wide receiver. He can go up and get the ball, and he can run pretty good routes. I like this pick for the Chargers.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if him and Lab McConkey become a good little tandem.
Hmm.
Uh, you weren't too happy about this pick, but I don't have no problem with Josh Beck.
Look, I'll say this. This like not sorry to cut you off, but this was probably the time where I think I was getting a little irritated. Like we kept trading back, and I understand. Like we pretty much, after sitting in on the weekend, like I kind of talked to my friend here on Saturday when we was at the JOB, and I told him
Mhm.
I wasn't really too impressed with our draft, but after sitting on it, actually looking at some tape, watching Jack Bet, I'm gonna say this. I'm truly impressed with this young man. I really am. Looking at his tape, I think he could be a very explosive wide receiver. He's a very big receiver. So honestly, with us trading back, we pretty much got Geno Smith for free at this point. You know what I mean? Because we had the extra third round pick. That's what we had to give up to get
Mhm.
Geno. I'm actually pretty pleased with our draft. Obviously, I was more looking for the names. Like I wish we could have got a Luther Burden. I wish we could have got some Will Johnson. Because I still think we need a cornerback and stuff like that. But after looking on it, I'm gonna give everybody at the Raiders organization an apology, and I do like what we did, and I do like Jack Beck. I think he's going to be a tremendous addition to the Raiders, and he's going to be a big body receiver that he has one of the best drop rates as far as like not dropping the ball. He was like one
Mhm.
of the top tier ones receivers in the whole nation. So I think this is a great pick. I'm not mad at it.
For sure. Baltimore Ravens, they get great value and get Mike Green.
How does Mike Green drop this far, bro? I don't get it, bro.
It's the off the field stuff, man. He had two
I hear you.
essay allegations. You know what I'm
I hear
saying?
you, man, but it gets to a point, man, where we've somebody. There are always going to be some certain off the field issues, and obviously, some are worse than others. But I mean, they always said like everybody's been, because we're going to get to the Shador thing. Like everybody keeps saying that if you got talent, we're going to pick you regardless of the situation that's going on. That's what I've been hearing all day. So to me, it contradicts what everybody's been saying.
Yeah. But it was a good pick. You know, Ravens,
It was.
they always have good drafts.
They're like the Eagles at this point.
Yeah.
They just keep getting richer at this point,
Yeah,
especially on
yeah,
the defensive side.
definitely. Denver getting RJ Harvey.
I love this. I
I
like this.
love it. I love it. I do too.
I
RJ
hate it,
Harvey.
but I love it. I hate it,
Yeah,
but I love
right,
it.
right, right. He's one of my guys. I loved RJ Harvey. One of my
Yeah,
Chiefs, RJ Harvey. But hey,
solid.
he's gonna be a speed demon for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. Trey Amos, another guy I like,
I
the
like this one
corner
too.
from Ole
Hmm.
Miss, Washington Commanders. They definitely needed another corner to go opposite of Marshawn Lattimore, and here's your guy.
Yeah,
Shamar Turner, defensive tackle for Texas A&M, another one of those guys on that Texas A&M defensive line that they don't have the production, but they get the talent. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So if they can unlock it, you got a guy on the defensive line that could definitely help
Hmm.
out.
Hmm.
Omar Norman Lott, he had the highest pass rushing win rate in the nation from defensive tackle. The knock on Norman Lott is his size and his snap count. He didn't have a big snap count because that defensive line from Tennessee had a heavy rotation of guys on there that are really, really good that will probably be coming out next year. But I like the dude. I love the pick. He put him next to Chris Jones on 3rd and 17 or 3rd and 12, 3rd and 10, and let's go after the quarterback, man.
And
As
Chris
long as
Jones
he
would
can,
make a lot of people look good.
huh?
Chris Jones would make a lot of people look good next to him.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. But I'm just saying, we can finally get somebody who can win 1-on-1 next to
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
and while he's taking up double teams, I'll take that. You know what I'm
yeah, for sure.
saying? Like as long as he's affecting the quarterback, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not
And then,
really worried about the snap count with him. I think he'll
yeah,
be fine.
yeah, yeah. I think he'll be fine. And Andre Imabuke Imakuba, that's his name. Uh, Eagles get rich again. Bottom line.
That's all you can say about the Eagles at this point.
Eagles get rich again.
Yeah. Nah, yeah.
Let's go to the third round. Come on, let's pull up. There we go. Darius Alexander going to the Giants was a very good. That defensive line is going to be something, dog.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
gonna
they're
have a
gonna be
crazy
solid.
defensive line, man. Dexter Lawrence, Darius Alexander. You got Abdul Collar, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. Like
Yeah. They're gonna be solid next year. They
that
got an
de-
expectation.
if anything, the defense gonna keep them in games.
Yeah, like yeah. We'll see. You know what I mean? Like even with Russ, like if you even have Russ starting, the offense should be a lot better than what it was last year. You're gonna get more consistent play. And then if you can add the addition, if they can develop Jackson Dart and he can perform well, like sky's the
It's
limit with
gonna
this
be a
team. You
threat.
know what I'm saying? Giants gonna be they could be a little threat. Not saying I don't think they'll be a playoff team next year, but I think they could give some people scares. You know what I mean? Give a couple teams give them some losses that they didn't expect. You know what I mean? So should be interesting.
My Chiefs was back up. We got Ashton Gilate. I wasn't familiar with him, but after watching his tape, this dude is Mike Dana on steroids.
Okay,
Like
okay.
this dude, he's strong. He affects the quarterback, but he's good against the run. But this dude's motor is crazy. He is
Nice.
an athletic freak. He tested out of the building in the combine. So
Yeah.
I get he's a Spags defensive end, not size wise, but just the way he wins. This is the prototypical Spags, and he has He has a cool relationship with George Karlaftis because his defensive coordinator at Purdue was his defensive coordinator at Louisville, so they
Gotcha.
have a connection. So
That's cool.
I think that had a little bit to do with it too. They had a little bit of a relationship, friendship, or whatever. But yeah, dude is crazy off the edge. So, like I said, if you can affect the quarterback, I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Harold Fannin Jr., I like the pick. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a good offensive weapon. He'll be a good. He's the opposite of what's the tight end at Cleveland? What's his name?
Njoku.
Yeah, he's the opposite of Njoku. Oh, Njoku's the big physical freak type tight end. This dude is a little bit compact and smaller, but you can use him as a weapon around the field. You can have him come out the backfield. You put him in the slot. You can split him out wide because he's just a big wide. He's pretty much a big wide receiver. That's what he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can use him all over the field. So he'll definitely be a good pick. Darren Porter, I like that pick for y'all. He's a former wide receiver turned corner, so he's still trying to figure out how to play corner. But he's really good. He's super fast. Like
6'3" too, big boy
yeah.
too. Hmm.
So big, fast. You can work with that.
Yeah, for sure. I love that pick. I like that pick a lot.
I actually like Kyle Williams going to the Patriots. I know people talk about his drop rate, but a lot of people like Kyle Williams. He gets open. That's all that matters. Dude gets open. And if Stephon Diggs can be anything that he was last year,
Hmm.
then Kyle Williams can be a good number 2 to him.
Yeah.
Landon Jackson going to Buffalo. That was a very good pick. I like Landon Jackson. He's going to be a good defensive end. He can get after the quarterback. Azareth Thomas going to the Jets. He's going to be a good corner. They lost DJ Reed, so they need another corner to go opposite of Sauce Gardner.
Hmm.
Pat Bryant, another good wide receiver going to the Broncos. He's not a number 1, or he's probably a good number 3 wide receiver, maybe even 4, depending on Marvin Mims if he takes a step forward. But he's a big body wide receiver, so you like that. Siobhan Revel going to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't have a problem with that. You know how we feel about Dallas's corners. I think that they are boom or bust over there. Like,
I like Siobhan Revel. Obviously, he's
I do
coming off
too.
the knee injury, so like if
Yeah,
he can respond back well with that, I actually like this pick. You know what I mean? Because if,
me
if he
too.
can stay healthy, I think he'll be solid for the Cowboys.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're boom or bust over there. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Siobhan
sure.
Revel is more complete corner than both of them. Just what's his name?
Diggs and
Diggs and Bland.
yeah.
So I like Revel.
Yeah,
Um,
because like low key, if he could stay healthy, I think he could be their solidified. Go after the number 1. You could have Trayvon Diggs and Bland. Kind of like roam around. You know what I'm saying? Because those are guys. Those are more opportunistic. Cornerbacks where they like to get the turnover. If they don't get the turnover, they're kind of like just irrelevant at a point because I don't think they're the best like one-on-one guarding style cornerbacks. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens.
Princely moved. I think the Cardinals traded up and got Princely. He's a good defensive end, has potential. Another guy who can get after the quarterback. Carolina
Yeah,
definitely needs that on their defensive line.
for
That was
sure.
one of their issues. They was scoring 30 points a game, but they was giving up 30 something points a game too. So,
Right, right.
and then Arizona getting Jordan Birch, another guy to add to their defensive line. We both said that Arizona's defense, they were opportunistic, but they weren't, potent. So they need to add to their defensive line. So another, defensive player that I think is Jonathan Gannon that he could mold and put on that line. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and then the rich get richer with Houston Texans. They double dip at Iowa State and get Jalen No. So now they got both Iowa State receivers. And man, this Texas defense offense could be fun next year.
Yeah,
If these rookies can come along, this offense is going to be crazy.
explosive,
And if
explosive.
that offensive line can get better, look out for CJ Stroud to be an MVP candidate for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And then the Steelers get Le'Veon Bell 2.0 and Caleb Johnson. Pretty much. I love Caleb Johnson. He's a touchdown machine. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
what he is. I think he had like 20 something touchdowns last year.
Yeah,
So if they're gonna go back to that patient run style that Le'Veon Bell used to drive me crazy with, and I used to scream at the TV why nobody wanted to tackle this dude. But yeah, man, he's definitely gonna be better than uh, Jamal or Maul's favorite running back, Najee Harris.
yeah, yeah. They can get Najee Harris to get out of here. I think Caleb Johnson, fantasy wise, I think he could be a sleeper. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially let's say Aaron Rodgers gets out of his retreat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I think he could help, and then I think goal line purposes, he could be really good for fantasy purposes. So
Yeah, I agree. Uh, and then Jacob Parrish, K State corner, he's really good. Tampa Bay needed cornerback help. I think they should have got some earlier, but Jacob Parrish is a really good corner. I think he could challenge to be on the field early. Speaking of corner, Noah Williams, I love this for my Chiefs. We traded up to get this kid. He is a ball hawk. He had 7 interceptions last year, and that is something that we desperately need. Nobody in our secondary is a ball hawk. Not no one, not Nan
mhm.
Netta. I love Trent McDuffie, but it took him 3 years to get an interception. So he could cover you, but he ain't taking the ball away.
You're right.
So Noah Williams, he's another one that we need on the field because we need to get the ball back into
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes' hands.
Mm-hmm.
Savion Williams, I like Savion, but them TCU, and I know you guys drafted the TCU guy, but I think he's a little bit of an outlier. Savion is kind of like Quentin Johnson.
Yeah.
Fast, big wide receiver. We'll see if he can get open in you know what I'm saying
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
NFL.
We'll see.
You know what I'm saying? We'll see. You know what I'm saying?
At least my boy
Uh,
did it at LSU, so
yeah,
I know
right,
he can perform. I know he
right.
can perform.
The big one is Jalen Milroe going to the Seattle Seahawks. I know I made my statement on there, but this was more so pertaining to Shador Sanders. I don't think he should have been taken over Shador Sanders, but this is a good spot for him at Seattle. I think that he could sit behind Sam Darnold for a couple years while they mold him, and then let him go. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So now this one was the surprise one. Dylan Gabriel going to the Cleveland Browns. Shout out to Dylan Gabriel. Look, man, dude was a Heisman candidate. He did his thing. You know what I'm saying? He made it to the playoffs. They were the number one team for most of the season. And then, they kind of laid an egg in the playoffs, but they were the number one team. And he was
Mm-hmm.
he was the anchor of that. He won them a lot of games, but
Mm-hmm.
he was not better than Shador Sanders. But
Nice. That's a 2.0.
yeah, that's how I look at it. Xavier Watts going to the Falcons. That's a good pickup. They lost Justin Simmons, so they needed another safety to go opposite of Jesse Bates. Charles Grant going to the Raiders. That's a good pickup for y'all. He's a good offensive tackle. I know he went to William and Mary, but dude is a good offensive lineman, and I think he could start for you guys probably this year.
Yeah, for sure. I like the Jalen Smith pick too that the Texans did. I like him.
Yeah,
Guy from
yeah,
USC. I think he can be solid for him too. I like that pick.
yeah. I agree. I agree. Uptown Stout. I like that name. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just like the pick because of the name. I ain't got no deep analysis, man. I just like the
Uh,
name. You know what I'm saying? Uptown Stout. You know what I'm
Usually San
saying?
Francisco is really good at eyeing defensive talent. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's one thing that that they're pretty good at. So
And then Tay Fallon going to the Vikings. You just add to the wide receiver room because the wide receiver room, and then you don't know what's gonna happen to your boy. What's the other receiver on Falcons? I always forget names all of a sudden.
uh um who
Not Jefferson, but what's the other dude name?
here I'll look it up, man. I'll look it up. We getting this how look, we apologize, bro. We're getting old, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, man, we forget names.
This age talking, my boy. You know what I mean? All y'all can feel the same thing. You talking about Drake London or Donald
No,
Mooney?
no, the receivers for the Vikings.
Oh, not Jefferson. Addison.
Yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen with Addison. He could look like he could be a problem when the contract comes.
Yeah, he gonna get his money, bro. Addison gonna get his bread. Addison's nice. Addison could be a one.
Oh
Addison
yeah,
really could be one. So
that's what I'm saying.
they're gonna have to figure it out.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not with the Vikings. Like I wouldn't be surprised if maybe your Raiders next year be like, hey,
Trust me. We get Addison, my boy. I'm gonna be
hey,
real happy, my man. And don't sleep. Like even with that situation, I think Addison. I even think T Higgins. I know he did sign a contract, but I low key think they're gonna get out of that in the next couple years because that contract really isn't shit.
it really isn't. He ain't really get paid.
No, he really didn't.
Running back Bayshaw Tootin going to going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This may be the end of Travis Etienne. They might be getting rid of that dude.
Yeah, ET gone, bro. ET gone.
Cam Scatterboo going to the Giants. This is a good third
like
down back. He's going to be a good 1-2 punch with time.
He's gonna give him toughness too. He's gonna give him toughness on them, especially goal line situations. The creativity that Brian Daboll could probably have with Cam Scatterboo. We saw it in some of them bowl games where he even threw a touchdown. So I like that. He's a tough kid. He's definitely gonna give a lot of energy to that offensive side. So I really like that.
Yeah, and then you got Tyra. What's his name? What's the dude name?
Which one?
The
Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah,
Tracy
Tracy.
Jr. Yeah, Tracy
Yeah,
Jr. is nice. I like Tracy Jr. a lot too.
yeah, he's gonna be a good 1-2 punch with Cam Scatterboo, and you won't
Mhm.
have to have Cam Scatterboo have a whole bunch of carries. You know what I'm saying? You can
Nah,
give
you can
him.
probably put him in a slot. You could do so much with Cam Scottaboo. Like he's just not a running back. He could be a receiver. He could do like a lot of stuff that my man from the Saints did. As far as like play being behind in the quarterback situation or whatever. So tight end situation, he can do some stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Jack Kaiser going to the Jaguars. This was a good pickup. I like Jack Kaiser. He was a good linebacker for Notre
Yeah.
Dame. Um, they need all the defensive help they can get over there.
Notre Dame with linebackers and safeties, they always are nice. So that's just the reality of that college.
Deion Walker going to Buffalo. That's another good defensive tackle going to Buffalo. I like Deion Walker. Arian Smith. Look, Arian Smith is fast as shit. Dude can run past you, but he can't catch a cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so many games in Georgia, he wide open and he drop it.
He gonna have to work on them hands, my boy. But if he can stay consistently catching that ball, he can be a really
weapon. He definitely can be a weapon for sure.
Just Jets fans, you're gonna see one of those. Like he gonna be wide open. That shit gonna go. Ooh. Y'all gonna hate that motherfucker. So go easy on him, man. He is a rookie.
Wide open and he gonna jump because that's what people that don't know how to catch they jump.
You gotta get confident. He gotta get confident, but we'll see.
Yeah. Ty Robinson going to the Eagles.
Rich get richer, bro. Ty Robinson is good, bro. He's a big boy.
Yeah, man.
He's a big boy, bro. Yeah, he got richer, bro. Look, I'm starting and so tired of the Eagles, bro. Like, y'all make me sick, bro. Y'all just, man, y'all gonna be nice, bro. I can't be mad at y'all anymore, but it's annoying.
Danny Stuntsman, another linebacker out of Oklahoma. He was really good. This was probably the Orleans Saints best pick.
Yeah, honestly, bro. Like, yeah, I don't know. If you're a Saints fan, bro, I know you got to be getting them paper bags ready, bro. It's gonna be a long season for y'all.
CJ West going to the Niners. I think this was one of their better picks. I like CJ West.
I like CJ West. Yeah, he showed a lot of promise on that defensive line in Indiana, man. They're really good.
Trevor Etienne, the brother of Travis Etienne, is going to Panthers. He's going to be a good 1-2 with Chuba Herbert. We know Jonathan Brooks got drafted, but he tore his ACL, so he might not probably even see the field this season. So
I don't think Trevor Etienne is going to be an every down back, but I do like the switch up. You know what I mean? And he'll definitely bring some explosion to that offense, and maybe they can get some creativity again. With their head coach. So it should be interesting to see what they do with him.
I can see some punt return stuff too.
I can see that too. I can see him being like a special teams kind of guy too. Yeah. Sure.
Cody Simon, another good linebacker out of Ohio State, Arizona, stacking up that defense. This was pretty much a defensive draft for Arizona. So
yeah, which it should have been. So
yeah, for sure. Houston Texans getting Woody Marks. He's a good catch out of the backfield type back, big back, but he can catch it out of the backfield. So this will be a good. Yeah, this would be a good player for them too. Barrett Carter going to Cincinnati. That was their best pick by far. By far was their best pick. He's a good cover linebacker. It's like 6'1", 220, but he's good at covering tight ends and running backs. So he'll be good on in their linebacker room. Gunnar Helm, tight end out of Texas. He's a good. I like that. He can catch the ball, a good blocker. So he'd be good for Tennessee. Another weapon for Cam Ward.
Yeah, young team. I think Tennessee should be excited with this young team. Cam Ward. You add another weapon with Gunnar Helm. Like we saw him stretch the field with Texas, man. I saw him make a couple big catches as well, man. So I like that pick.
Jack Sawyer going to the Steelers. That's like atypical. Like Jack Sawyer and the Steelers is like that's like hand in hand.
Jack Sawyer is nice, bro. Like
he's the typical defensive lineman that goes to the Steelers.
He's a football player, bro. Like he is just the prototypical. He's gonna perform, and it's just like I was a little surprised he dropped this far.
I was too.
Jack Sawyer, I was shocked a little bit. I thought he would have went around the second round with JT. But look, man, Pittsburgh Steelers got one. You pair him up with TJ Watt, man. That's a cold piece. That's a cold piece, man.
And they got Derek Harmon on that defensive line.
Yeah, so like That D line's gonna be, and we know how tough Pittsburgh is. We know Mike Tomlin and the toughness and stuff. At the end of the day, with Pittsburgh Steelers, like they have the talent. It's just they got to get that quarterback situation. They're pretty much waiting on Aaron Rodgers. Like if Aaron Rodgers goes there, no matter how much we hate Aaron Rodgers and how he acts and all that, he's still a talented, even with his age. You got DK Metcalf. You got explosion in that backfield. We already talked about them drafting the running back. Now you add Jack Sawyer to go along with Harmon and TJ Watt. Come on, man. Come on, man.
And you still got Casey Hayward over there. And
Casey Hayward. And then what's the linebacker that they had?
Highsmith,
which is, come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, if they can get Aaron Rodgers, that's pretty much what y'all waiting on. If y'all don't get him, then y'all pretty much are fucked. But you're just wasting talent at that point. But yeah, it's pretty much Aaron Rodgers or bust with this team.
Yeah, for sure. Kyle Kennard going to the Chargers is a good pickup. He was good on that South Carolina defensive line. Dylan Sampson going to the Cleveland Browns. He's going to be a good 1-2 punch with Quinshon Judkins. Like Dylan Sampson is a speed demon. He gets to that second level, you ain't catching him.
Yeah.
So, and he can catch out of the backfield, so that's a good thing. Jalen Lane, he's a fast guy. Pretty good wide receiver. He'll be a good number 3-4 wide receiver in that room. They just keep adding to that room. So that's a good pickup. Malachi Moore, safety. I like this dude. I wanted my Chiefs to possibly get him, but he goes to the Jets. He's going to be a good pickup for that secondary because they need some extra help in that back end. So. And then my Chiefs getting Jalen Royals. A lot of people had him going in the second round.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all got
I don't know how he dropped to the fourth round. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought he was going to be off the board by at least the third round. And he dropped. I don't know if it was because of the injury, but he showed in the Senior Bowl. They saying at the Senior Bowl, he was one of the better wide receivers there. So I don't know what's going on, but hey, man.
you got you a steal, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be a true number 2 next to Rashee Rice. And then you put what's her man's name? Worthy as the third slot. Like I ain't gonna lie. I hate this pick. I I was annoyed by this. I'm like, oh my god.
And he played against UNLV, man. I remember that game, man. I remember the safety coming across trying to hit him. He gets up and the safety was knocked out.
Yeah. Yo, man. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but
yeah. You guys got Tonka Hemingway. How you feel about that, Pete?
I like Tonka. I think Tonka Hemingway. Obviously, I think he needs some development, but I think he'll be good. I think he'd be good with the tackle. I like our draft. I think we have a healthy combination of guys that can perform this year to some guys where I think they have some high upside, but they need development. You know what I mean? Like it's like he's like a tweener kind of guy. Like he can go either way, but I like the high end of what we can get. You pair him, you pair him with Max Crosby and the work ethic that Max Crosby has. Hopefully it rubs off on all these young guys, man, and they can perform. You know what I mean? I just think obviously this puts a lot of pressure on Tyree Wilson. I think he needs to perform because he has not performed. So I'm not mad at it. Add competition. That's what Pete Carroll wanted. He wants competition at every position. So it's going to bring out the best of everybody. So I'm excited for it. I'm not mad.
Alec Ayomaner, another good wide receiver to Tennessee. He really did his thing at Stanford. So a lot of people were surprised that he was still sitting there. It was another receiver that like Jalen Royals that people thought would be gone at least by the third round. But him sitting here with Tennessee, that adds more weapons for Cam Ward to at his disposal. Joshua Farmer was a defensive tackle that I like coming out of Florida State. New England gets him. That's a good pickup for them. So, yeah, man.
I like it. I just think with any of the Florida State defense, you got to take into question on how that year was with this team. There's a lot of disappointing performances with this team. Effort, I think a lot of that has to come into question. Obviously, it's good. He's getting a breath of fresh air being on the Patriots. I love what the Patriots did in this draft. I think they just added so much depth to their team, exploding on the offensive side. So, I think anybody on this Florida State defense, obviously they're ultra talented, but we got to see the heart from this from a lot of these guys because we didn't see a lot of it this past year with how disappointing of a year Florida State was.
And then Jordan Watkins, other wide receiver at Ole Miss, he was a fast guy. You add that to San Francisco. They're having a lot of turnover over there in that wide receiver room. You got Ricky Purcell. You're gonna see what happens with Brandon Ayuk, and you still got damn, what's the dude name? I always forget people's names, man. The other wide receiver that was doing really good last year with them, they got a 2-year deal. So you add that to that, you know what I'm saying? He could maybe challenge for that third or fourth wide receiver spot. So, and then let's get to the fifth round because this is the big round right here. Um, and we go to the Cleveland Browns. Shador Sanders got picked in the fifth round to the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people were confused because they just drafted Dylan Gabriel in the third round. This has been the talk of the weekend. Wherever you was listening to it on the radio, you was watching it on TV, whatever publication you was watching at the time, commentary, Shador Sanders was the talk. And a lot of people have their reasons and thoughts and insider stuff and why Shador Sanders dropped this far. You know, personally, I feel like that the league was trying to show this young man that he's not, you know, in charge of nothing, showing his dad that he's not in charge of nothing. Um, Look, we weren't in the interview rooms, but I don't think his interviews was so bad that dropped him to the fifth round. I mean, for God's sakes, Mike Green, who had I said it earlier, two essay allegations, got picked in the second round. And all Shador did was possibly like be a little arrogant, which I call it confidence. He's confident in his abilities. I'm pretty for sure Cam Ward probably showed the same thing. Because if you listen to Cam Ward, him and Shador kind of talk alike.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear when they was in their sessions together, they talk trash to each other.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Shador did to make people in every organization pass up on him, you know, to the fifth round. And in Cleveland, I don't know what you're doing. If you were going to do this, if you were like, we're going to wait to the fifth round to get Shador Sanders, you might as well in the third round at least got you another wide receiver.
Yeah,
You
with the
just
Dylan Gabriel pick, yeah.
you just wasted a third round pick on a quarterback that might not even start for your team.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody's going to be expecting Shador Sanders to beat him out.
Yeah.
Because the consensus is that Shador Sanders is better than Dylan Gabriel. We didn't hear a word from about Dylan Gabriel going into the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about his accolades. Look, Oregon quarterbacks, everybody looks at Oregon quarterbacks for fishy because that offense is built for you to put numbers up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and you got a shorter quarterback who's what, 5'11"?
Yeah, I think he's like 5'11". Yeah.
He has a decent arm. His arm ain't that much stronger than Shador's. Yes, he has accuracy, but so does Shador.
Better accuracy.
Better accuracy. And Shador has the intangibles that you want in your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get what was the point of all of this. I don't get where Cleveland is coming from. I don't get where the league was coming from. So making this young man to wait to the fifth round, I don't know if y'all were trying to just humble him. And I applaud Shador. You never saw him one time looking sad. You never saw him one time blaming anybody else, pointing no fingers. All he said was, you know, God got me, and wherever I go, I'm a ball out.
Look, man, at the end of the day, you know, I'll talk about this more, but let's just call it facts, man. Shador Sanders, at the end of the day, he's better than a lot of these quarterbacks that got picked ahead of him. I agree with you. I have no idea what the Cleveland Browns are doing. At this particular time, Shador Sanders is the best quarterback that the Cleveland Browns have. He's better than Joe Flacco. He's better than Kenny Pickett. He's definitely better than Dylan Gabriel. So now you have 5 quarterbacks. And that's not even including Deshaun Watson and the fiasco that you have over there. And it's like, in a sense, you're trying to cover up the mess that you've made as an organization by the addition of Deshaun Watson, the amount of money you gave, the amount of draft capital that you gave up to get this man, and you haven't reaped any benefits at all by what you did. So now it's like you're kind of just trying to cover your tracks by drafting all these quarterbacks, signing these quarterbacks, because what are you going to do in the offseason? You have Kenny Pickett, you have Joe Flacco. I'm assuming you brought Joe Flacco in to kind of have a battle with Kenny Pickett to be the starter, but I would assume you would want some veteran leadership. You would probably might have Joe Flacco depending on how he performs, but it could be Kenny Pickett as well. Now you bring in these 2 young guys, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Where are the reps going to come in? where is the time going to get in to find out who is the better receiver to me? Because you have a whole bunch of new quarterbacks that need to learn the system. I'm not really familiar as far as the knowledge that Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett may have underneath with this new offensive playbook that they're going to get. I'm not sure how familiar they are. I'm not going to sit here and know, but I don't know. It just reeks. Again, I agree with you. Shedeur Sanders, the character assassinations and things we've been hearing through the media, I think it's a bit ridiculous. And then I think the players are talking themselves. I think the players have only acknowledged Shedeur Sanders. I don't even think they even said Dylan Gabriel's name when they welcomed in. I could be wrong. They could have done that. But at least from what I've seen on the outside looking in, Shedeur Sanders seems like he's getting a lot of the buzz. He never had any problems with any of his teammates. His teammates have loved him from everything that we have heard. They've been very, very supportive. A lot of the former players from the Colorado Buffaloes were at his draft party. Look, I don't know what the Browns are doing, but at the same time, I think they got to win with Shedeur Sanders. I think they got the quarterback of the future, and I think he's going to perform well. And I think that whole locker room is going to back up Shedeur, and sooner or later, I think he's going to be the starter. I wouldn't be surprised if he's day one starter. That's what I'm going to say. I think he's that good, and I think if anybody wants to question that, look what he did, man, with Colorado. That was a 1-win college football team when he took that over. He had one of the worst offensive lines. And then when he did get protection, he threw for 80%. You know how good that is? He's a very accurate quarterback that knows how to read defense. He has a strong enough arm. Don't give me this Travis Hunter is the main reason why he's here. No, it's not. The Colorado Buffaloes, within 2 years, was competing for a playoff spot. And if they would have beat Kansas in your favorite NFL team stadium, they would have made the playoffs. And who knows what would have happened when they got there. You know what I mean? But, he just didn't have the talent around him on the defensive side or the offensive side, minus Travis Hunter. So at the end of the day, congratulations to Shedeur. Even with all the prank calls and all that stuff like that, man, he handled it with class. And if anybody thinks he's some arrogant kid, think again. He's just a confident kid that knows what he can do on that football field. When Baker Mayfield was talking all that mess, no one said it was cockiness. They said it was confidence. He still became the number 1 pick, and he ran away from the cops, mind you, at that. Johnny Manziel, same thing. Everybody, I know he ended up dropping. Some people had questions on him, but he still went in the first round, pick 21, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a smaller quarterback, and we all knew that it was going to be tough for him. We all knew the problems that he had with his partying and his drinking and all that, and the consistencies he had of being in that playbook and practicing and stuff like that. I don't have any questions of Shedeur Sanders showing up for work. I don't have any questions of toughness or anything like that. So what is the real reason why he dropped? I get the Jackson Dart shit. I've called that, so I'm not really surprised on that. And I'm not mad at the Giants if they wanted to go that route. I understand. You can't be mad at the Titans for picking Cam Ward. You know what I mean? I think you can make conversations that Shedeur Sanders could be up there as well, too. But if you want to pick Cam Ward number 1, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with the Jackson Dart. But after Jackson Dart, I still find it questionable, but I'm not mad at it because it's Brian Dable. Mm-hmm. But if it was anybody else, I would question it. But this Tyler Shook shit, this Jalen Milroe shit, this Dylan Gabriel shit, bullshit. Sorry. I hate to use the language, but it's total crap if y'all trying to sit here and tell me that Shedeur Sanders is not better than those quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe can't throw the football. That's a fact. That's why he needs 3 years of development. Dylan Gabriel, he's cool, but he's too small. And we saw what when he goes up against really great talent with Ohio State. Yeah, he looked good the first time around, but when they saw him that second time around, they couldn't do shit. They couldn't do nothing with that offense. So, and then Tyler Shook, and he's just an old quarterback with a whole bunch of injuries, bro. What ceiling does he have left? Like, how much can he further advance as far as like his talent? At this point, I think you could say he's peaked. You know what I mean? So, and then he's injury prone. So now you got another injury prone quarterback to go along with Derek Carr. Like, I just don't see the vision in that. You know what I mean? If you would have, and then on top of that, let's talk about money. Like, NFL is all about the money, right? You put Shedeur Sanders in the New Orleans Saints jersey, bro, that's the number one selling jersey. You don't think that fan base ain't buying tickets right now? You don't think you're selling out stadiums? You be lucky if you can fill Superdome. I'm gonna be honest with you. The way them Saints fans are feeling, you'll be lucky to fill up half of the Superdome for this season coming up. Now, obviously, that first game, people are gonna show up because it's the first game of the year. But the moment y'all get y'all asses waxed by fucking 30, no matter who it is, it's gonna be same old story. There's no excitement for that team. At least the Browns fans, the moment the Browns signed Shedeur Sanders, every single Browns fan that I saw was fucking excited as shit. Motherfuckers doing this, creating fake Shedeur Sanders. I wouldn't be surprised if Shedeur Sanders has the best-selling jersey for any Browns player. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So, and even the Browns players are embracing him and saying, let's get to work. So
it's crazy. But congratulations to him. Congratulations to him.
Yeah. Just go through a few more of these. DJ Giddens going to the Colts was a good pickup. I like DJ Giddens. He go look up his highlights, and Shiloh, he loves him too.
Yeah, shout out to Shiloh going to the Bucks too.
Yeah, man, he got signed to the Bucks, man. Well deserved. Jeffrey Bassa, linebacker from Oregon. I like this pickup. He's a good coverage linebacker. He can play inside. He can play on the outside as far as middle linebacker and outside linebacker. So I like this pickup for my Chiefs. We need a guy who can cover tight ends. That's our number one problem in defense is covering tight ends. So he's good for that. I'm trying to look. See. Mitchell Evans going to Carolina. That's pretty good. Aronde Gaston, he's going to Chargers. He's another guy. Torrey Holton, wide receiver from Colorado State. He's a good pickup for Seattle. They need to add more wide receivers. They got JSN. They got Cooper Kupp. We don't know how much of left for Cooper Kupp that's left. And, Cooper Kupp can be injury prone. So getting somebody like Torrey Holton, who has great hands, who's got speed, he's a bigger wide receiver. I like this for Seattle. Chris Paul Jr., a linebacker out of Ole Miss. He's a good pickup for the Rams. Denzel Burke, he was actually highly touted at one time, but his stock has really lowered, and that's crazy because I know Ohio State defense was actually really good, but
really good.
Let's see, because there were some picks in the 6th round that I wanted to talk about.
I think Ricky White went in the 6th round, right?
Yeah, Dorian Strong, Virginia Tech corner was pretty good. Ollie Gordon, man, he was another one that was highly 2023. He was highly touted. He had led the league and or led the college football in the rushing yards. Everybody thought he was going to be that guy. Then last year he just fell off.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
The Eagles jumped in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers to get Kyle McCord. Harry Roseman ain't shit. Devin Neal going to the Saints. I like that. Devin Neal, I think his 40 time kind of messed him up. But I think when you get him on the field, dude is a beast. I think he's a football player.
Yeah, big back, very powerful. He's cool.
And he had 4 productive years, so you can't knock him.
Will Howard.
Yeah, for real. Will Howard going to the Steelers. We all know the knock on Will Howard. He went to Ohio State. It was all the talent around him. He didn't really look too good at the combine either, throwing the football. And who came to his defense? Shedeur Sanders. But yeah, Will Howard. We'll see. Maybe he sits behind Aaron Rodgers and develops. I don't know. Khalil Mullins, running back out of Michigan. He was pretty good at Michigan. He's a running mate. I remember when what was the dude named Donovan Jackson? I think his
Mhm.
name is the other running back. I remember he's on the cover of the college
Yeah,
football
he ain't
game.
even get picked. He ain't get picked. Did he get signed anywhere?
He got. I think he signed somewhere. He did.
Okay.
I don't know where, but I think he signed somewhere. Riley Leonard going to the Colts. This is
A Colts move.
yeah. This is Daniel Jones. If
Keeping
he
in
could,
state. Keeping in
this is
state.
this is Daniel Jones if he can't run.
Yeah.
If he couldn't throw, and
Yeah.
Daniel Jones can't throw either. But still, Taj Books, another good productive running back going to the Bengals. I actually like this pickup for them. Add to that running back room because they had a lot of injuries. Your
I'm
boy,
done.
go ahead.
Oh no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Your boy, Graham Martz, got drafted to the Houston Texans. He will be backing up C.J. Stroud.
That boy is terrible. Sorry. Not a fan. I like Kobe King. I like the Kobe King pick.
Yeah, and speaking of Kobe Bryant not getting drafted is crazy. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah, I don't know
Kansas
what the hell
cornerback.
happened with that.
I don't know how that dude didn't get picked.
Yeah, I don't
Dude
know.
was a beast, and he was.
Yeah.
Go watch the Colorado game. He was giving people fits out there.
Nah, he was. Yeah, he really was. I don't
He
get
was
that either.
so. Shout out to LeJontay Weister from Colorado. Got signed to the Baltimore Ravens. He's going to be a good addition to that team, man.
Mhm.
I'm praying that he makes it on the squad, but he was productive. He was productive at Michigan. I think it was Michigan State he was at. Where did he go? Tulane. He was at Tulane.
Tulane.
He went to Tulane, then he transferred over to Colorado, and he played his role at Colorado, but he was always making big plays. And shout out to LeJontay. And then a few picks down, Jimmy Horn Jr. goes to the Carolina Panthers. He's another one. He's another guy that you could put back there. Punt return, special teams. But he's a fast guy. He runs really good routes. You could use him in the slot. So this is another good pick for Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. R.J. Mickens going to the Chargers. That's a good pickup for them. Like Mickens. And then your boys taking two. Well, you got Tommy Milton. You didn't like that pick.
Tommy Mellett and Cam Miller. It just seems like when you hear everything that's been talked about. And I like the JJ Pagu. I can't say his last name. He came from Ole Miss. Very athletic D tackle. I like him. But with these guys, it seems like they're kind of trying to find that next Julian Edelman style guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a cornerback that's very, very athletic that probably can be transitioned into a receiver. It seems like that's the kind of route they're going to do. I think it's just they're going to see who can be the better quarterback and receiver and all that, because those two are very, very athletic. I think one of the guys ended up winning like the Heisman for Division II football or something like that. So I saw a couple of tapes. They're very athletic, very explosive quarterbacks that can definitely run. We'll just see who could be the better receiver out of it. And then I think whoever becomes a better receiver, I think that's the one that's going to end up getting a roster spot. So.
And you got Damian Martinez, running back from Miami. He went to Seattle. We all know those running backs get hurt all the time. So
let's hope not for his sake. God.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
But he will be a good addition to that room. There were reports that they were trying to trade one of them away too. So that might have something to do with it too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Us getting Brashard Smith, the running back out of SMU, he is the perfect Kansas City Chief, Andy Reid running back. He can run. He got speed, and he can catch out of the backfield. But he's a former wide receiver, so he knows how to run routes. You put him out, split and slot, put him outside. You put him everywhere on the field. So he played at Miami first. His first 2-3 years, and then he went to SMU. So he's a talent. He's a talented kid, and we need this type of burst and speed in the running back room. He'll be a good 1-2 punch with Isaiah Pacheco. So
yeah, I hate to say it, y'all had a sneaky decent draft. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think y'all did decent for what y'all were, what picks that y'all had and where y'all were at. So y'all should be happy about it.
Definitely. Quinn Evers going to the Dolphins. What what week is he gonna be playing football?
Ah man, Quinn Ernst, shit, he'll be in the rotation by week 7. You know what I mean? I just don't have any trust with Tua staying healthy. That's just the reality of it. And I hate to say it, but he's pretty much my fear with Tua is he's pretty much one concussion away from retirement.
Yeah,
That's how much I fear. I hope not. I'm really rooting for Tua to stay healthy because those things are very scary for him. He has a family and all that, man. So I definitely root for him to stay healthy. But that's my fear with him. He it's just he's small, and it's just I don't know. I just don't have any faith, especially with that O line.
no, I hear you. Tez Johnson going to Tampa Bay. I think his 40 time messed him up. I think he ran like a 4.5 or whatever. Everybody was expecting him to run like a 4.3, 4.2, something. But he
We
only
know
ran.
he's fast on the field. Like I don't need the
Yeah,
time. We see it again, but this is another situation with Tampa Bay. Why y'all have all these receivers? Like,
I
what are
don't.
y'all doing? What is your ultimate goal? Are y'all need to go ahead and trade somebody to the Raiders because we need somebody. Maybe that
I,
might be it. You know what I mean? If you want to go ahead and trade Mike Evans for a fourth or something, let me know. You know what I mean? Or
I just think they got spooked last year when
Chris
Godwin
Godwin out.
and then Evans was out for a little bit. I just think they got spooked. And they was
Yeah,
just like,
but
man,
this is ridiculous, bro.
we
They
need.
have like a 6-man rotation right now. Like, bro, what are we doing over there, bro? Yo, share the wealth, my boy. We need another receiver, man. You know what I mean? What we
Yeah.
doing? They're gonna have to either they're gonna release one of those guys or maybe potentially maybe trade because
Hmm.
some God forbid no one gets hurt, but we know football, man. It's just comes with the territory. Like what I mean, they can maybe get some assets for him or something.
Yeah, for sure. Ricky White the third, UNLV wide receiver, goes to Seattle. Shout out to Ricky White, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Happy for him, man.
Congratulations.
And he went to a really good spot, man. He could definitely make this roster. If anything, if he just makes the roster on special teams, he'll definitely make it on
He's
the.
making this team. He's
Yeah,
making this team. This if I had to bet, he's making this team.
he could
He's
definitely be wide receiver 4,
he's
most
too good.
definitely.
I think he could be 3. I think he's
Yeah,
that talented. Like I get it. Like he's probably not the most explosive as far as like numbers, but we watched him on that field, bro. He's an NFL player. He's a Sunday NFL player, special teams and receiver. I think he's gonna be fine. He'll be legit. It's a
I
great
mean,
pickup.
he had 1,000 yards past 2 seasons, so he
Yeah,
definitely productive.
that's
And him and Torrey Horton, that's gonna be a good battle for who's gonna get that third wide receiver spot. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
I'm
So
rooting. You know who I'm rooting for.
yeah,
Mm,
of
No,
course.
no offense to my man Thornton, but we rooting for our boy.
Yeah, that pretty much wrapped it up for the NFL draft. Kobe
Yeah.
Minor was Mr. Irrelevant to the New England Patriots.
Hmm.
But overall, good draft. Shout out to
Yeah.
these young men who got drafted and to all the UDFAs. I loved our UDFAs that we picked up. Hey man, I love that kid from Florida, Elijah Badger.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I think
Hmm.
he's gonna be battling for that sixth spot as a wide receiver on my Chiefs. I like that move right there, and I like the tight end from Clemson too. What's his name? Bringing Pool. I like that one too. There's a few other guys we got too, but I definitely like those two. Those two stick out
Yeah.
most for me. So,
Yeah.
and shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. They picked up Kobe Bryant. That dude's gonna be starting.
Yeah.
Mark my words.
Shout out to
He's
my
gonna be
Raiders
starting.
for picking up Haj Malik. You know what I mean?
I saw that. I saw that.
Shout out to them, man. Shout out, man. I need that Haj Malik Raider jersey. I need that. I need that Genty and I need that Haj Malik. I need those two.
My man gonna be backing up Gino.
I'm with that. I'm with that. I'm rooting for that.
But yeah, man, that was a good draft, man. And
It was.
shout out to everybody who tapped in with us at the watch party and everything. We had a really good time doing that for y'all. We'll definitely do it again next year. We'll probably have a different, we'll probably try to rent something out or go somewhere and try to do it at a different setting and outing. But overall, it was a good time, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I can't complain. Um, definitely do it again. We'll probably do watch parties for other things too. You know what I'm saying? We'll work some stuff out.
Hmm.
All right, man. Let's talk about Shannon Sharpe, dog.
Yeah.
Mr. Sharpe is getting sued, civil suit by Jane Doe. She is an OnlyFans content creator. He's been dealing with her. I guess she lives out here in Vegas because that's where he's being sued at. She claims that he has been dealing with her for the last 2 years, and as time has went on, he has been increasingly violent towards her and making her do things that she doesn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard some of the phone calls. Shannon Sharpe even had to step away from ESPN so we can handle this. He's still doing nightcap. He's still doing the, Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
But he has stepped away from ESPN while he handled it. I think just ESPN told him he needs to handle his business, and if everything goes right, you bring your ass back. But yeah, man, he's going through this. I know there was the rumors of him signing $100 million contract, and then once that came out, this lady she comes out and says she wants 50 million. There was rumors of him trying to settle for 10. Pretty sure they deny it. I know the Budsby guy. He's the same guy, the lawyer for the young lady, and he's the same lawyer who came after Jay-Z and ultimately lost that suit. So, what's your thoughts on everything, man?
I think Shannon's cooked. I think at this particular time, like yeah, Tony Busby was representing the lady of the Jay-Z case, but he also represented the ladies in the Deshaun Watson case. So and we all know how that went. So and then obviously you're hearing other situations of instances with Shannon Sharpe and I think a production assistant at FS1 where there's a choking incident right there. I think their lawyer came out and said there was an incident, but it was more of like just play fighting or something like that. But we all know how that goes. At the end of the day, it seems like Shannon Sharpe definitely has a certain type of kink that he likes that he kind of gets off. And this is the second incident with this a sex scandal type of situation. Obviously he had the whole thing with the video of him on Instagram Live, and some people made some conclusions that he might have did that on purpose, and now we have this situation. And I get it, he has $100 million contract, but I low-key think that what ESPN and Shannon Sharpe are doing with his absence, I think it's kind of like they're in the midst of a negotiation on how they want to get out this contract. Whether it's going to be a situation where he can get his money, or it's a situation where he's fired and he gets none of it. I don't think we see Shannon Sharpe on ESPN again. Even the way kind of like Stephen A. Smith has looked, talking about this situation. He kind of said it's out of his hands. And when it comes to that situation and how much power Stephen A has, and if it's out of his hands, I don't think it's looking really too good for Shannon Sharpe. I feel bad for Shannon in the sense that I don't think he did necessarily anything wrong in the sense of sexual assault to me, and purposely. I think it's just like some BDSM role playing type of shit to me personally. I could be wrong, you know what I mean? This is just kind of like my assumption, and if I'm wrong, I do apologize to the young lady. But at the end of the day, that's just kind of how I feel right now, with just everything that I've seen, videotapes and all that, just kind of the conversations they've been kind of having back and forth. It just seems role play to me. And just certain things that Shannon Sharpe has said on some of these feet, it's kind of crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, yo, bro, like, what are we doing? Like, but at the end of the day, man, like, I think Shannon will be fine. I think he has a strong enough fan base where I think people are still going to support him. You already have a whole bunch of people supporting him already. Nightcap, he's going to still have Nightcap. Now, as far as like that $100 million and if he's going to get that, I don't know. I don't know if that was from the ESPN thing or if that was like more for his podcast and other ventures and stuff like that. He still has his Laportier. He'll be fine. Like, money wise, I think he'll be fine. Obviously, he just won't be on ESPN anymore, but he'll still have his outlets where he'll be able to speak on topics and stuff like that. It seems like Nightcap's numbers are still doing really good. I think even after scandal, I think they're doing even better, honestly. So I don't think he's really going to be tripping too much. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he just needs to learn how to just control his sexual behavior and not tape every single thing that he does. Like, he just needs to chill out with recording every sexual experience that he has. And you know what I mean? I know a lot of people been having the conversations of him, entertaining 19-year-old, 20-year-old chicks and all that, and, combining with the whole Tracy Ellis Ross shit. Like, look, at the end of the day, you do what you want. I'm not going to sit here and tell somebody who they should have sexual relationships with. You 20 years old, 21 years old. It's very young. He's obviously the age that he is. But if she's given consensual And I know it's weird for some people, but it just is what it is. I stay out of people's sexual business, man. People are going to do what they want to do. Women have sex with younger men. People don't really trip about it. Men have sex with younger women. Seems like it's the end of the world. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying I would be doing it or whatever, but there's, as long as he ain't having sex with like some minor kids or some shit like that. Like, she's 19, she's 20 years old. She's an OnlyFans chick. She knows what she's doing with her body. If that's what she wants to have a relationship with, let her make that choice. That's kind of how I kind of feel about that whole situation. But but besides that, man, Shannon on ESPN, them days is over. They're not doing it.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him on the national media standpoint. Right when things are looking good for dude, and, he just, this comes out, and then, it just seems like it's getting kind of worse, what I'm saying, especially with other allegations from other women. That's what happened in the Deshaun Watson case. It was like, it was one woman, it was two, and it was 3, 4, 5. And then got all the damn, it's like 30 or 40 women. So it was just like, and I hope it don't get like that with Shannon. But yeah, man, it's just not looking good for him. Like, as far as ESPN goes, I think Nightcap, he'll still be fine. He'll still have Club Shay Shay, like you said. He still got Laportier. He got a clothing line and all this other stuff. So he'll be fine as far as whatever network picks him up, And he's still doing the big time interviews. He just put out the Terrence Crawford interview. So, yeah, Shannon will be fine on that front. As an individual, he'd be fine. But hopefully, none of it. And this young lady didn't file like real charges. She's filed a super suit.
She wants her bread. So at the end of the day, you know what I mean, she gonna get something. At the end of the day, she gonna get something. You know what I mean? Obviously, he already offered the $10 million. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's around that range, maybe a little bit more. But because at the end of the day, do I think he wants to go through a whole court system and then a whole bunch of other stuff get leaked out? And, there's already rumors about sex tapes and all this other type of shit. I think at the end of the day, he wants to kind of just end this, get this done, what's the number that would get you to stop this? And I think that'll be it. You know what I mean? I think they'll find a settlement. I think that's just what he wants. I think he'll go ahead and just take the L on, if it's 10, 15, maybe 20 million, just go ahead and just chalk up the L. You'll be fine. And then just keep it pushing, move on with your career, and know to keep your horniness in control.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's do our BetUS short fried picks, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man, what you got?
Let me see. Where's my shit? Here we go. All right, so for tonight, I got a little quick four, all basketball. So for tonight, I got the Cavs -8.5. I think they blow out the Heat. I think they end the series. Get ready to face the Indiana Pacers, because we all know how that series is going to end. So I got them -8.5. I know it seems like a lot of points, but I don't think it's going to be a close game. And they did that without Darius Garland. They blew him out. So, and I'm assuming Darius Garland will play tonight. Rockets. I got the Rockets +4 over the Warriors. I know Jimmy Butler is expecting to come back, but I would not be surprised if this ends up being a 2-2 series going back to Houston. I think the Rockets should have won the game the other night. Warriors made a decent comeback and were able to control the fourth quarter. But I think the Rockets are going to come out. I think they're going to respond. I think May Doka is going to have that young team ready, and I think they're going to be inspired. I wouldn't be surprised if that's 2-2. Even if they do lose, I think it's going to be a close game. I think they will keep it within 4. Knicks tomorrow. I got the Knicks -5.5 with the Pistons. I know this series has been tough. I know a lot of close games, but I think that game last night was kind of the breaker for the Pistons. I think they'll still give a lot of heart, but I think the Knicks will win this game by more than 5.5 points. I think they will close them out and start gearing up, because they know they got a big task with the Boston Celtics next round. So especially they want Jalen Brunson to get as much rest as possible with that bad ankle. He was already limping around. So you want to end this as quick as possible and get some health. And then I got the Nuggets money line against the Clippers tomorrow night. I think they will win, and I think that was a devastating loss for the Clippers. I know they were down by 20 most of that game, so I think the Nuggets did deserve to win that game. I know there's a controversial call with the Aaron Gordon thing, but I think the Nuggets win tomorrow, money line. I like that. I think the Clippers will come back and win Game 6, and I think we're definitely getting to Game 7 in Denver. And then I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers end up winning this series, but I think the Nuggets do win tomorrow and go up 3-2.
I'm with you. I got the Cleveland Cavaliers -9 over the Heat. and then they're gonna blow them out and get this over with, getting
Yeah.
the kill shot.
Yeah.
Um, I'm taking the Houston Rockets +4 over the Golden State Warriors. I think I'm with you. I think they take it back to Houston. Um, and then I got, I'm gonna take a Magic +12. I don't, I think it's gonna be a close game, but I mean, I do think the Celtics is gonna win. But I got Orlando +12 in that game. I'm gonna take the +5.5 with the Knicks because both of them games have been close. They won by one the other day, and then they won by two the other game before that. So the
Mhm.
games have been close, but I'm gonna go with the Pistons 5.5, +5.5. I'm going Pacers -8 after the Dame Lillard injury. I just think that they're gonna be defeated. I think that the Pacers are gonna handle business, and yeah,
Even with Dame, they weren't winning that series. So
yeah, for sure. And then I'm taking the Clippers -2 over the Nuggets. I'm gonna roll with the Clips. Yeah, man, I'm gonna take them. And then I'm gonna hold out hope for your Lakers, man.
for what? Trust me, because I'm about to go off here in a minute when we start talking about this basketball stuff. So
And I'm gonna take the money line. Take the money line,
all right.
Lakers.
All
That's
right.
what I'm gonna take. All right, man. If you look at the screen, you'll see the QR code. You go ahead and scan that. You go to the BetUS website. You sign up. You put the promo code Join125, and on your first three deposits on $100 up to $5,000, you get three risk-free bets. That means that on your first three bets, if you bet $100 and you lose, you keep your money. So you can win money or you can keep your money. So go on, scan that QR code, sign up, tell them Cris Style Mal sent you. And that does it for our Bet US Shore 5 picks.
Mhm.
All right, man. I know we talked about the NFL draft, but just give us your quick kind of grades or your best teams, how you felt, who had the better drafts.
Yeah, man. So honestly, in no particular order, these are kind of the teams that I have. I excluded my Raiders. I do again. I restated earlier in the pod that I really do love what we did. I would have them in my top five just because it's just how excited I am for this team after doing a little bit more research on some of the guys that they picked up. So I excluded them out. You know what I mean? I'm very favorable. Number one, I like again. This is no particular order, but the first one I have the Arizona Cardinals. I love what they did. I love the Walter Nolan pick. I love Will Johnson. I love Jordan Birch. I think they did a lot, adding some key players at points in the draft that you would think they wouldn't have been there, especially Will Johnson. I think his knee will be fine. Will Johnson is definitely a first round style talent, so I do love that. The Falcons, I love what they did. I love the addition of Jalen Walker and them trading back up for James Pierce. I know we kind of talked about, I don't think they needed necessarily to do that, but you add two athletic guys that can cause havoc on that defensive side. Obviously, they needed that. Xavier Watts, I love that. I like the Jack Nelson offensive tackle pick, so I'm not really mad at that. So I definitely like what they did. I have the Texans. I think the Texans kind of really smoked it, especially with their receivers. Obviously, they had a lot of key positions. I love the offensive tackle, Arianta. I think that's how you say it, Ursi or something like that, from Minnesota. I think he can be very promising. Obviously, a lot of people probably would have liked maybe if they could have drafted the offensive tackle maybe a little bit higher. But at the end of the day, I think you add Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel. I love the Jalen Smith pick, Woody Marks, Jalen Reed. I think they kind of killed it. The only thing I didn't like is Graham Mertz, but that's just me. I'm not really a fan. Eagles, they get richer. We all know what's up. I'm not really going to say the names because it's fucking annoying at this point on who they get, but we all know who they got. I loved it. And then the Patriots, man, I think the Patriots definitely add depth. They added a ton of explosion, especially with Trevion Henderson. You pair him up with Ramondre Stevenson. I think that could be a really good one too. You add Will Campbell that can protect Jerick May. You added Stephon Diggs. I know a lot of people he's 32 coming off of ACL. I think he'll be fine. I think they can also add, you still got Kendrick Bourne and stuff like that. I like it. So those are my five that I do like. As far as like my top five worst, Cowboys, I'm not really a fan of what they did. at the end of the day, like we know they needed offensive talent. Like I like Tyler Booker. It's just that I think they could have used a receiver. I like Donovan Arizque. I like Siobhan Revel Jr. and all that. But again, injuries are coming into question. Just what they need on the offensive side, more explosion. You just pretty much have CeeDee Lamb, no running game. But at the end of the day, I'm not really a fan. The Browns, it comes back to the quarterback situation. What are you really doing? I think they got their quarterback of the future with Shedeur Sanders, but they could have used a lot of these other picks to do better as far as like, the Dylan Gabriel situation. I like Quinshawn Judkins, but you know what I mean? Maybe they could have went another way as far as like you could have got another running back a little bit further, add a little bit more depth to that offensive line or whatever. So that's just me. The Dolphins, I just don't know what they're doing at the end of the day with this team. Like when you kind of look at what they have, like, yeah, you add Kenneth Grant and Jordan Phillips, Janae, Ollie Garden, he had a big fall off, Quinn Ayers and stuff like that. I just don't know. Like at the end of the day, with Kenneth Grant, I think you could have went and got an offensive lineman, offensive tackle or something like that. Maybe it could have been Maurice at 13, but maybe you could have traded back, get a couple extra pieces. You know what I mean? Add a little bit more depth to that team. I think they would have been a way smarter move than getting Kenneth Grant at that particular time, because at the end of the day, this team is going to ride with how healthy Tua can stay healthy. If Tua can stay healthy, this offense is going to keep moving, and we know how explosive they can be. Obviously, they've had their questions, in the playoffs as far as playing in cold weather and stuff like that. But and then Saints, like, what else is there to say about the Saints? Like, they just did not have a good draft at all. And then the Bucks, it's not so much who they drafted, it's just why did they draft so many receivers? Why did they sign so many receivers? I like Emeke, but I think they could have went different ways. Added depth to the cornerbacks. The defensive side of the ball. Just a couple questions there. It's not so much the player on who they drafted. It's just why did they do it? I don't think it was necessarily needed. So that was just me.
Yeah. On my list is no particular order. I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens. They got Malik Starks, Malachi Starks, Mike Green, Emory Jones, offensive lineman. Who else? Lajante Weister. Like they did really good on their draft, so I like what they did. Um, the Denver Broncos. I think the Denver Broncos did really good. I can't stand their asses, but they did. Jade Barron is going to be a good number two corner across from Patrick Surtain. RJ Harvey is going to be a game breaker. Pat Bryant is an underrated wide receiver. He's going to contribute. But yeah, man, I like what they did in their draft. Houston Texans, I'm with you on that one. You got both Iowa State wide receivers. Uh, you add an offensive lineman that's going to start right away. You got a good cornerback, another good running back. So yeah, I like what they did in their draft. Two, the Indianapolis Colts, I like what they did. You get Tyler Warren, another weapon. JT, a good defensive lineman. DJ Giddings, another good running back in that room to go with Jonathan Taylor. So yeah, I like what they did too. And who else? Where are you at? The Philadelphia Eagles, of course, the rich get richer. They got Jahai Campbell. Uh, they got Andrew Imukumba, Ty Robinson. Um, Kyle McCoy is a good backup. So yeah, I like what they did in their draft. And the Giants. I'm gonna roll with the Giants. Abdul Carter, getting Cam Scatterbull, also Darius Alexander, Jackson Dart. I do like what they did in their draft too.
Yeah, I like what they did too.
The people that don't like, of course, New Orleans Saints. Like I said, you get an old ass quarterback. Kelvin Banks, he could be a good uh, offensive lineman, but I think you guys could have went a different direction there. I do like Danny Stuntsman, but outside of that, and Devin Neal, but outside of that, I didn't like their draft. Um, the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't understand what they were doing. Uh, some of their defensive play, like like I said, Shamar Stewart, if he hits, then what I'm saying, I could be wrong, but he's more of a project. He's more of a development defensive lineman, and you need something right now. So Demetrius Knight is another one I didn't understand. You got Barrett Carter, so you didn't have to draft Demetrius Knight. So I don't know. I didn't really care for that draft. Cleveland, I don't know what y'all doing. I like Mason Graham. Uh, Corey Swearinger is cool. Um, I didn't get to dealing. It's just the quarterback situation. I don't understand what y'all doing over there. Why draft two quarterbacks in the same draft? Um, where are they at? I'm with you with Tampa Bay. I don't know what they're doing over there in Tampa Bay and Miami. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Miami. Kenneth Grant, he's cool, but outside of Kenneth Grant, past that, it's just kind of like okay,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's my list. All right, man. I didn't know what you meant by this when you said WWE is ruining marriages, but then I saw the report. But I read a little bit of it. But I'm gonna let you cue this one up.
Yeah, man. So there was a woman. She posted a story on her Reddit about her relationship with her husband and his fanatic behavior with the WWE. So I'll read it. I'll try to go as quick as possible. Now I just want to hear my man's thought process on the whole story. She's a 26-year-old female, husband is 33-year-old male. Um, this is a throwaway as my husband's on Reddit. My husband was into pro wrestling as a kid, fell out of it, but over the last few years has eased back into it. I've never been a pro wrestling fan. I thought it was something that people watched as kids and grew out of. But he has become obsessed and is escalating to a point where I no longer feel comfortable. Apologies, as I may not get all the terms right. I'm exposed to wrestling a lot, but I try to avoid watching it. It started harmless enough. He watched the pay-per-view events like WrestleMania. Then he started watching recaps of weekly shows. Now he's glued to the couch every night. There's a live pro wrestling event. He watches multiple wrestling shows, not just WWE. He started spending money, I mean a lot of money, on merchandise, t-shirts, hats, action figures, the fake belts, etc. I was okay with it as it was nice to see his passion reignited for something he's been, quote, he's been in a rough spot with work lately, but now pro wrestling is the only thing he cares about. He yells at the TV like he's part of the crowd, cheering or booing. When he's watching, and he's not watching, he's constantly shouts out their catchphrases randomly. He says things like yeet, acknowledge me, you can't see me, etc. He actually gets irritated if I don't play along with him. Like if I don't raise my hand when he says acknowledge me. This past weekend was the worst of it. Those of you who know, it was WrestleMania. He asked me to refer to him as the final boss all weekend. I laughed it off and thought he was joking, but he wasn't. We actually got into an argument about it Saturday evening because he said I wasn't supporting him in the way he needs, and that whenever we're watching wrestling, I look bored, disinterested, etc. I look that way because I am. He's got to be watching 15 hours of wrestling a week easy. When Jay Uso won at WrestleMania, he literally jumped on top of our couch waving his arms. It was embarrassing, and I left the room. I don't want to say too much regarding our intimacy, but he's asked for a lot of role playing lately as well, and it has me very concerned. The things he's asked me to do and say make me super uncomfortable. It's all wrestling related. Things have taken a toll on me mentally. It's nonstop. He sends me memes of Roman Reigns and a bunch of other wrestlers. He talks like them, acts like them, and demands I participate in his little performances. Sunday night, the wrestler he wanted to win didn't win, and it's still affecting him today. His mood sour and seems depressed. I hate to admit it, but it's kind of nice. He hasn't been as loud and noisy as usual. So Reddit, I need help. I just don't think I could deal with it anymore. He sings the wrestler songs. He does their sings. He's got all their t-shirts, and he's even gotten tickets for us to the next show coming through in about 3 weeks. But I just don't think I can take it. So what is your advice to this young woman? What are your thoughts on the relationship? Do you think my man is taking it too far? What are your thoughts, man?
Look, man, I'm a fan, and I get it, man. I say wrestling sayings at work, around the house. I don't say it to my lady. Like I ain't going up to her saying yeet and yeah, and to tell her to acknowledge me and all that stuff. Like I'm not doing all of that. My girl don't watch wrestling either. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't trying to force her to watch wrestling either. So um my advice is to the man, you need to unplug, man. Go touch some grass, dog. Touch some grass, dog. It ain't that serious, man. Look, I'm a fan just like you, brother. I love wrestling. I love pro wrestling. It's fun. It's great. Well, and we all be saying, you get around certain people and they know the sayings. You say it too, you know what I'm saying? And I catch myself around the house saying it too, but I ain't to the point where I got my lady saying it to me in the bed. Telling her to say yeet when I'm clapping.
Right, right. Wear the Rhea Ripley outfit or some shit like that.
Yeah, we not doing that. We ain't have her dress up like Bianca Belair or nothing like that. So, uh, to the young lady, look, man. Only thing I can suggest is y'all go to therapy, man. Maybe y'all
Yeah,
need to go some therapy or something. Maybe he has an attachment issue or something to where I don't know because from what I'm reading, it was he just got back into wrestling and he's
mhm.
starting to get like this. So maybe he
Into
has
it.
maybe he has an attachment issue and maybe y'all need to do some couple counseling or
Do you think
something
she
like
should be more supportive of it? You know, what I mean, do you think he has a point with her not being supportive? And
I think that if somebody like if the other significant other is really into something, I support you in a way of I'm not going to bother you and try to dissuade you from not doing that. Like my girl, she likes Lifetime movies. I'm not into Lifetime movies, but I'm not going to
right,
sit there and say don't watch Lifetime movies. That's what
yeah,
you like.
facts. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's what you into. Cool. You know what I'm
rock
saying?
out.
That's just
Yeah,
like we into football. You know what I'm saying? She's not really into football like that, but she's not telling me not to watch football, and I'm not
absolutely.
sitting here trying to tackle her either,
Yeah.
and telling her what a cover two is and a cover
Right,
three.
right, right. You know what I mean? Let's play center quarterback in the bedroom real quick. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
nah, we ain't doing all that. So my man need to touch grass, and both of y'all need to get some couple counseling. But don't
Yeah.
leave him yet. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you love the man. Don't leave him yet, but just be a little understanding, humor him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to say sometimes. You know what I'm
I
saying?
look, I don't mind. I don't mind. Look, if you want to role play, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, do that. You know what I mean? As long as your lady got to feel comfortable with doing that shit
Yeah,
or something that
yeah,
she got to agree upon. But I think she should support him. At the end of the day, like I think with situations like this, can he take it a little bit too far? Yeah, probably. But at the end of the day, at least you know where he's at. At least you know he's in the house. At least you know he has something to look forward to. Then besides looking sad and depressed and all that stuff like that, I think like yeah, could it be unhealthy at times with what he's doing? Absolutely. I think my man does need to go touch some grass. It's not that deep. You know what I mean? The acknowledging shit. I think that's hilarious. I think that's hilarious to me. That's probably the funniest shit. But I think she should be way more supportive. I think they're both extremes on both of the sides. I think she's taking it way too personal, and I think he's just doing way too much. Find a healthy medium. Still support your man and what he loves to do, just like he supports you in whatever it is, whether it's the Kardashian show, whether it's you doing makeup or whatever the case may be that he may not like, but he still supports you. Do the same for him, man. I just think y'all need to find a healthy balance, but y'all be all right.
yeah. My man need a healthy balance too.
Yeah,
Unplug a little
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
brother.
You know what I mean? Just whip him with the Bianca hair, man. He'll be all right. He can get off on that shit.
Don't be out here. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, man. I just wanted to get your quick opinion. Milaysia Fulwiley, she transferred over to LSU. She had entered the transfer portal like literally right after the championship
Yeah,
game. You saw her in the press conference or when in the locker room when they were interviewing. She had tears in her eyes. So um, we all know her. She's talented. She was a 5-star recruit, but she was very talented. But she came off the bench, and a lot of people were asking. I remember Sue Bird and Deanna Taurasi was asking that on the telecast. Why is she coming off the bench? You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Um, as far as like overall skills, I think she had the best skills in South Carolina, like dribbling, shooting, all that stuff. So I think she left because she didn't feel like, especially the Leighton chick, she just transferred over from Florida State. I feel like she felt like there was no path for her to get on this, to start on this roster like she wanted to. I think she sees a path at LSU to play with Flage and what's her name? The Williams chick. I forgot her name, but I think she sees. Yeah,
Michaela.
yeah. I think sees a path to play start with those two young ladies. So, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Congratulations to her. I wish she would have went somewhere else. I'm not a fan of Kim Mulkey. We see what she does with her players and how much she really ends up backing them. She only supports them when they do something for her, as far as like winning games and bringing up her more notoriety. Um, I've just never been a big fan of Kim Mulkey. Obviously they have more of a relationship to her. I'm just kind of on the outside looking in. But at the end of the day, if this is where she wanted to go to, congratulations to her. Hopefully she gets the playing time that she is eagerly to seek, because I think she does have a lot of talent. We see she was probably the best offensive player that South Carolina had. But obviously South Carolina was able to fill that hole with some of the transfers that they got. So we all assume that, we all know Dawn Staley, she's gonna get it going. I wish she could have found a place to stay. I wish she could have stayed at South Carolina. I wish she would have just stayed there and hopefully just kind of work herself into being in the rotation. Obviously, there had to be a reason why Dawn Staley didn't play her, because we all see the talent that she has, but sometimes defensively she could be, out of sorts. Maybe she might not be engaged in, a lot of the plays and stuff like that. And that comes to you, because you can't run away from the issues that you have internally as a player. Like, you going to a new program isn't gonna, change anything as far as like if you're not gonna be fully invested on the defensive side and offensive side. And I get the frustrations where you think you are the best player in certain aspects that you should be playing in certain moments in the game, especially key moments in the game, getting more minutes. But you got to look yourself in the mirror too as a player. We all know you're talented, but there's a lot of stuff that she can work on. So I hope she gets to fill everything. I hope she works on herself as a player. Hopefully this is a wake-up call for her. And she can have a great year with LSU, and we can get that LSU South Carolina rivalry going, because we all know when that rivalry is going, it's one of the best. You know what I mean? So congratulations to her. Looking forward to the season upcoming up in here in November. So should look forward to it.
Yeah, I agree, man. All right, man. Let's tackle NBA playoffs, man. Your favorite thing to talk
Yeah,
about.
man. Not right now, but yeah, it's cool.
We're gonna start with the Eastern Conference. The Cleveland Cavaliers are up 3-0 on the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
They dominated the last game, winning 124-87. Darius Garland limited output from Donovan Mitchell. Jared Allen stepped up with a double-double. They play tonight, game 4. You already kind of gave your thoughts, but just reiterate what you said before.
Look, at the end of the day, Cavaliers are going to sweep this. They got to get ready for a big series coming up with the Indiana Pacers. That's not going to be an easy series for them, especially how the Indiana Pacers are looking defensively and offensively. We know how explosive they can be. Darius Garland didn't play with a toe injury, so it could be a situation where they're like, let's just rest you again. Like, we think we can win without you, so we'll give you as much rest as possible, so that way we can have you 100% ready for the Pacers series. There's a lot of expectations for this team, but they've shown it well. With the Heat, they just don't have a legit number one guy. I know you got Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, but you need a really true number one. Like, this could be a situation for Kevin Durant. This could be a situation for a Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, or some other players, maybe a Devin Booker or something like that. But it's just they don't have enough. The identity of the Heat is kind of in question, in the sense of like the Miami Heat culture. They got a lot of stuff to figure out over there in Miami, but Cleveland Cavaliers, this should be an easy dub. They should be able to move on with or without Darius Garland.
Then you have the number 2 Boston Celtics facing number 7 Orlando Magic. They are up 3-1 in this series. The last game, Boston secured a 107-98 win in the game 4, led by Jason Tatum, 37 points, 14 rebounds. Their next game is on Tuesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. What is your thoughts on this series, sir?
Look, this is a Celtics win. Obviously, Jason Tatum has been playing lights out, amazing. He was 14 for 14 from the free throw line. I think that was amazing. He was +6, 37 points, 14 rebounds. He's playing defense. I'm seeing the hunger in Jason. This is the Jason Tatum I like to see. Like, I've been a Jason Tatum critique because it's just like, man, it's just I don't see no fire. I don't like you say you're Kobe. Your Kobe's your favorite player, but I don't see the Kobe in you. I'm starting to see the Kobe in him. He's back talking shit. Like, he's getting in people's, like, you see a fire in him, you know what I mean? And maybe it might have been the whole situation with the Olympics and, the doubts about it. But I hate the Celtics. I will always hate the Celtics. But this is the Jason Tatum I've been waiting to see. This is the Jason Tatum that could be the face of the league. And I'm liking that. I hate it, but I like it. But with the Magic, man, you got to tip your hat off to them. They've been playing this Magic really, really tough. It's just that they need another scorer to help out Paolo Banchero, another consistent scorer to help him out, and Franz Wagner. Again, this would have been a perfect situation for Damian Lillard. Obviously, with the whole situation with that, obviously that's not going to happen. But this could be a perfect situation for a Devin Booker. You know what I mean? A cat like that can help get scoring in the backcourt because Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner, you got your two guys up front. We all know how special Paulo can be. They're just missing that one more piece, and I think they could be a legit contender. So that's just pretty much what it is. You got tip your cap. I think Orlando fans should be pretty excited with this team as far as like the future of them. But yeah, Celtics going to win the series.
And you got the number 3 New York Knicks and the number 6 Detroit Pistons. The Knicks are up 3-1. They edged out another win against the Pistons, 94-93, with Jalen Brunson scoring 32 points despite an ankle injury. The game ended in a controversy over a missed foul call. Their next game is on Tuesday also at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What is your thoughts on this series, sir?
Was it a foul? Yes, absolutely. It was a foul on Josh Hart. But at the end of the day, there was a lot of key plays at the Detroit Pistons. They had a comfortable lead. They just ended up turning the ball over. You just kind of see the youth of this team. Cade Cunningham is special, bro. He is so special, bro. He's one of my favorite players. I said between him and Shea, those are my two favorite players to watch. Their game is so smooth. They're going to be the next ones. As far as the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, man, what can you say? That motherfucker is tough. And there's a reason why he won clutch player of the year, man. He's just that key. But the thing with the New York Knicks is that for this next series coming up against the Boston Celtics, like, because I expect the New York Knicks to close out the series in New York. But their bench has to produce, man. Or this starting five is going to have to, like, every person on their starting five is going to have to get 10 plus points. Like, if they play like this, I don't see how the Knicks win one game against the Boston Celtics. I really don't. Like, especially with how banged up Jalen Brunson is, you can't always put that amount of pressure on Jalen Brunson for the size that he is. He needs help. Now, I do like the way Karl-Anthony Towns has been playing. He's been playing more physical. He's been playing more aggressive. I like that. You need that. But if this New York Knicks team is going to have any shot to beat Boston, they're going to need help. Like, Mikal Bridges, you need to wake up. With all those draft picks that they traded for you and the amount of money that you got, look, 8 points ain't gonna do it, bro. 8.6 rebounds ain't gonna cut it. And OG Anunoby, he needs to step up. Josh Hart, he played a lot better. 14 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. But we need to see the Josh Hart that can get the triple doubles. Mitchell Robinson, he needs to produce. Miles McBride, he needs to produce. I wouldn't be surprised. Precious Achiuwa, I don't know why he's not playing Precious Achiuwa, but he needs to play more of these players, man. Like, at the end of the day, this is one of the problems with Tibbs. He needs to start playing a little bit more. Like, he needs to trust his players a little bit more, man, because this starting five can't be playing like this because Brunson is literally going to wear himself out. He's playing on a bum ankle. Like, this is the thing why I think Tibbs should be worried about his job, man. Like, he can't keep doing this, man. So the Knicks should win this series. Shout out to the Pistons. They were just a couple years a little bit too early, but they'll be fine in these upcoming years. But yeah, that's just kind of my whole philosophy with the Knicks, man. They need more production from their starting five and their bench if they're going to have any shot beating the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, man. The Indiana Pacers, the number 4 Indiana Pacers are facing the number 5 Milwaukee Bucks. They are up 3-1 in this series. Indiana routed the Milwaukee Bucks 129-103. Miles Turner leading 8 double-digit scores. Damian Lillard exited with an ACL tear, was been reported. Their game is set for tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What's your thoughts on this series, sir?
Real quick with the Pacers, man. Look, just great offensive team. Defensively, they've been really, really effective. Naismith and all them, Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, they've been playing really great ball. I'm really excited to see that competition between them and the Cavaliers. I think that could definitely be a 7-game series, so I'm very excited to see how that goes. The biggest story is with the Milwaukee Bucks, man. Obviously, we got confirmation that Damian Lillard tore his Achilles today. So he's going to be out for a while. I don't even see him playing next year. But by the time he comes back, he might be close to, I think he's 37 now. He might be close to 39. This is tough, man. It's getting to the point where the Bucks, they're going to have to make some real wholesale decisions. I think this is going to be the summer that Giannis gets traded. I just think it is what it is at this point. There is no future for this team. They have no assets to give up to better this team. The trade value, obviously, for Damian Lillard is in the toilet. Respectfully, just because of the situation, prayers out to Dame. I wish him a speedy recovery, but we all know that Achilles injury is devastating, especially at his age. It kind of just changes the whole situation with the Bucks, man. Like, I just don't see Giannis being in a Bucks uniform next year. I really don't. You know, if you have a chance, watch the Chris Haynes interview that he did with the Dan Patrick Show last week, and Dan Patrick pretty much asked, "Is Giannis going to be there? Can you see Giannis being with the Bucks for his entire career?" Chris Haynes says no. Don't be surprised if the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis come to a conclusion of him trading. Now, there's going to be a lot of teams that should be in the Giannis sweepstakes. The Knicks, obviously, you got the Nets, you got the Heat. You guys are going to have the Mavericks, Spurs. Don't be surprised if you hear about my Lakers, especially with them needing the big man. Clippers, Thunder. Like, you're going to hear a lot of teams that could use Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is that special of a talent. So Milwaukee Buck fans, I feel bad for you because obviously this is a devastating injury coming off of a world title just a couple years ago. But you just better get ready to say your goodbyes to Giannis Antetokounmpo because I do not see him being in the Bucks uniform next year. I just can't see it.
Let's go to the Western Conference. There's not much to say about the Thunder and the Grizzlies. They closed out the series. They swept 4-0. The last game beat Grizzlies 117-115. Shea Gill had 38 points.
Shea Gill, MVP. I think this is another player you need to watch out, Ja Morant. I don't think he's going to be part of the Memphis Grizzlies next year either. I think you need to watch out for that. It could be an interesting summer next year. Him saying that if he was healthy, that the Grizzlies would have been tied 2-2. Like, y'all might have won game 3, but y'all not winning game 4, bro. Y'all not winning game 5. At the end of the day, the Thunder, they're just that deep, bro. They're just that good. We're waiting for a classic series, whether it's either between the Nuggets or the Clippers. That's going to be a very, very good series. I'm so excited to watch that. We can either have the battle of the MVPs with Jokic and Shea, or we're gonna get that Kawhi Shea matchup, which is gonna be amazing. So I'm excited, man. Thunder, I just think they're the best team in the whole league, man. Honestly, I just don't see anybody beating them. Not even my Lakers. I just can't see it.
Then you have the Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors. Number 2 Houston Rockets versus number 7 Golden State Warriors. Warriors are up 2-1. Golden State took game 3, 104-93, as Steph Curry scored 36 points. They have a game today at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What is your thoughts?
Tough series, man. At the end of the day, Jimmy Butler is expected to come back tonight, so that's going to be a huge plus for them. But I think this Houston Rockets team is a lot tougher than a lot of people think. I think we definitely see a bounce back game. They played really well earlier in the first half and parts of the third quarter, but for some reason, I don't know, just the end of the third, fourth quarter, they just couldn't find no rhythm on the offensive side. That's been kind of their biggest issues with the Houston Rockets is they don't have key scoring guys like Jalen Green. Like, he's talented as hell, but he just disappears in moments that you need him to perform. Alperen Sengun, you expect more from Jabari Smith. I expect more from Jabari Smith just because of the talent that he is, but he has his moments. Fred VanVleet, he's just inconsistent as a point guard as well. This is another team where if they don't win, they're going to be in the trade market. This could be a Devin Booker situation. This could be a Ja Morant situation. Like they need to find consistent scoring. So this is going to be a big game for Jalen Green. I do expect a big bounce back game, but I expect the series to go 7. I think this series is too good not to go 7.
Then you have your number 3 Lakers versus the number 6 Minnesota Timberwolves series. Timberwolves are up 3-1. Minnesota just won in a buzzer beater, 116-113. Anthony Edwards had 43 points. The next game is on Wednesday at 7 p.m. What is your thoughts, sir?
Start off with Minnesota. Look, they're just playing tougher, man. Julius Randle, this is probably the best I've seen him in a playoff series in forever. In any moment in his career. Anthony Edwards, he's got to be a top 5 best player in this league, bro. Anthony Edwards is literally punking this Lakers team at this particular time. He's getting whatever he wants. Naz Reid, hopefully he can be our future center for next year because I don't think he's going to be back with the Timberwolves next year. But you know what I mean? I hope we get him. To go with my Lakers, man, it gets to a point with this team where they need to find some heart and some soul. LeBron James, I can't really say too much bad about LeBron James. I think he's been playing outstanding, especially this last game. He played outstanding. Luka Doncic, he plays, minus the he had the stomach virus, so we let him slide on that one. He's played outstanding. Obviously, there are moments on the defensive side where he does questionable things. There was a moment where he was being guarded by Naz Reid. He took it into the hole, missed the layup, and then he goes over to a player that's already guarded by Austin Reeves, leaving a wide open 3 to Naz Reid. Situations like that is why certain people kind of agree with the Nico Harrison thing. Not a lot of people, but a small percentage of people, because I hate to use this word, but the stupidity on the defensive side in his thought process, it just makes no sense. And I mean that very respectfully, because I think Luka Doncic has performed well. Obviously, we do want him to be in better shape. This wasn't the year that we expected the Lakers. Obviously, I'm always going to have high expectations for my Lakers team, but we don't have a big man. It was going to be tough regardless. I didn't expect us to win the NBA Finals, but, it just is what it is. JJ Redick, I have no idea what you're doing on the offensive side. Like, I get JJ, the Luka ISOs, they do work when the mismatch is happening, but I don't think that should be the sole offense for our team. I think he needs to get more creative on the offensive side, because right now he's looking like Darvin Ham on the offensive side. I think defensively we only can do so much because we don't have a big man. I think we're trying to play hard, even though there are moments with Dorian Finney-Smith, Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, they do dumb shit on the defensive side. So I think JJ Redick needs to come up with a better offensive game plan. Play don't connect. I know he has his moments on the defensive side where he just looks lost, but at least he can give us a legit 3-point threat, because we still don't have that. Yes, we have Luka Doncic. I expect more from Austin Reeves. I've been really, really disappointed with Austin Reeves. He needs to go into the weight room because he's getting punked off all his spots. Like, you let Mike Conley Jr. D your ass up to the point you can't even get by Mike Conley. And I'm not saying Mike Conley is nothing to sneeze at on the defensive side, but you are the bigger player. You are the better player. You should be able to get where you want, and you're looking like you're soft as fuck. I'm sorry. I'm at a point where I'm strongly considering, if there is a trade where we can get a Giannis Antetokounmpo or something, and we got to put Austin Reeves in that trade, just do it. Like, I can't defend him no more. I expect more, and he has not performed. Dorian Finney-Smith has been pathetic. Get him off my team. Rui Hachimura, he did have a good game, but the idiocy and some of the things that he does on the offensive side, defensive side, turnovers, it's mind-boggling. Get him off my team. Gabe Vincent, get him off my team. Like, I'm over those guys. I can't take it no more. I'm really disappointed that Max Kleber couldn't play on this team. I expect him to be back for the playoffs, but with his foot injury, it's just not happening. So I don't know what's going to happen in game 5. I know they're going to play hard. I expect LeBron James to have another good game. Luka Doncic, I expect him to have a good game. I'm hoping that the rest of these players will play well because it's at home. Do I expect us to win? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we got back to 3-2. I wouldn't be surprised if we got to a game 7. If we get to a game 7, I will have us favored. But I got to see it to believe it, man. This team has blown. We should be up 3-1. I think we should be up 3-1. We should have won that last game yesterday, and I'm so disappointed that we gave up a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and we could not close it out. JJ Redick playing the whole starters for the whole second half made no sense. Like, you got to give Bron a break. This man, yeah, he is superhuman, but he's 40 fucking years old, bro. Give him a goddamn break. So that's just how I feel. Sorry I went on a long tangent, but it's my
I understand.
It's just what it is.
And then last but not least, number 4 Denver Nuggets are facing number 5 LA Clippers. Series status is tied at 2-2. Denver won game 4 with a 101-99 buzzer-beating dunk by Aaron Gordon. Nikola Jokic had contributed 36 points and 21 rebounds. Their game is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What is your thoughts, sir?
Best series in the whole playoff so far. This series has been amazing. I watched that game where the Clippers made a comeback. I think they were down by 20 in the fourth quarter. To the crazy Nikola Jokic airball, Aaron Gordon. I still think it was in his fingers. That's just me personally. I thought the ball had to go all the way through the hoop, including the net, but I was wrong. Whatever. At the end of the day, this series is going game 7. This series is going 7 games, and you know what I mean. They're going to have to. They're pretty much going to be playing the Thunder, so it's going to be tough. So hey, good luck to those teams coming off of this brutal series. But shout out to both of these teams, man. This is the best series out. This is the best basketball you can get. So if you ain't watching any NBA basketball, at least watch this one. This is the series to watch. So
for sure. All right, man. Got anything else?
Nah, man. I really don't have anything, man. I said congratulations to all the players that got drafted, signed, unrestricted, whatever. Congratulations to everybody. Prayers out again to Kyron Lacey. I know they had his funeral this past week. He definitely should have got drafted. I know he was going through some things, but he was too talented of a kid not to be there. It made it sad a little bit. a lot. You know what I mean? That, you know what I mean, you see in images of his funeral, his younger brother talking and stuff like that. So I definitely want to send prayers out to his family. Will Campbell talked about it. He was a good kid, man. Obviously, he was going through some troubles. I know we talked about it last week and all that, but again, I want to send my prayers out to him and his family, man. He should have been able to walk across that stage as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. You got any flowers of the week?
So flowers. I'm gonna give one. I'm gonna give it to Lego, man. Y'all got me, bro. I'm gonna go buy me a Lego kit and I'm gonna build me a Lego thing, man. You know how you be seeing people, man, they be building up like, yeah, man. I hate to say it, man. My nerves coming out, bro. I went over to my homie's house, you know, the barbecue, man. He was kind of talking to me about the Legos. My homie Morgan, DJ Technicolor, shout out to him. Morgan. He does it too. You know what I mean? They have the shit, man, where they have like the Batman, you know, Lego thing where you can build it up. You know, the Star Wars thing. They got some new Star Wars where it's like the letterings of Star Wars that you see when the credits are rolling and stuff like that. Okay, Lego, y'all got me, man. I'm gonna go buy my first little Lego set, man. Try to put it together, man. I'm excited to do that. So I'm gonna give a shout out to them, man. Shout out to Legos, bro. Shout out to Legos, man. Y'all got me, bro. Y'all got the inner nerd in me, bro.
You crazy, man. You crazy. Damn, that's crazy.
What? What's crazy?
You building Legos, man.
Hey, man, it just looks fun, man. It looks therapeutic, bro. It looks dope. Some of the stuff they got like a little Nike one coming out too. I want to get the shoe. That shit looks dope.
You should get the Raiders Stadium.
If they have it, I'll definitely get that. I want to get the Twin Towers one. They got the Lord of the Rings Twin Tower one. I want to get that, but that's just like fucking like $600. I'm like, damn, y'all be taxing on this shit, bro. I'm sure.
My flowers go to Outkast for being inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
Very, very much deserved. These two are the greatest rap duo of all time, in my opinion. Argue with your mother. But yeah, shout out to those brothers, man. This is well deserved, man. I'm really, really happy for them, for sure. All right, man. Who gets your hell no?
First hell, I got two. First hell no goes to Jax Ulbrich for the prank call that he did on Shedeur Sanders. I don't know what you get off on that shit. I don't know what people get off on any of that. I think who else? There were a couple other players that got prank called.
I think Will Campbell.
I think Tyler Warren got prank called and stuff like that. It's just I don't understand what this society is and what you get off on that, trying to ruin a young man's moment. You know what I mean? Trying to embarrass him. I don't know what you get off on that. Like, to me, that's just like some punk shit. Like, I think he should be punished more, Jax Ulbrich. I know it's not his father's fault, but you lucky your father ain't get fired off of this. You could have ruined your father's career and his reputation. You know what I mean? Some people are still kind of questioning it a little bit and how he got that information, but luckily the organization that he works for is backing him up. So Jax Ulbrich, I agree with Stephen A. You need to get your ass whooped. I hope your father does do that. You deserve that shit. And I hope you don't succeed in any career that you have, especially football. That's how I feel at this particular point. Dead ass. I do not care. And second goes to the media coverage of Shedeur Sanders. I saw a lot of embarrassing things during the coverage for the Shedeur Sanders situation. A lot of these analysts and media personalities kind of making excuses and trying to kind of defend the NFL. Certain people saying that if there's a conspiracy theory or people are trying to conspire against Shedeur Sanders, like you think that's not possible. We saw that with Colin Kaepernick. How is it not possible that NFL teams didn't conspire against Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders? You're a fool if you think that. I'm not saying that's what happened, but you kind of throwing away like if anybody thinks that they're fucking idiots. I think you're an idiot for even saying that. We saw it clearly with Colin Kaepernick, and no one can tell me otherwise. So I just think it shed a lot of light on people and their credentials and credibility. I think it kind of shot a lot of people's credibilities down with the Shedeur Sanders coverage and stuff like that. And, you know what I mean? This is a perfect time where I think people just need to start doing the research on your own, man. Look at these players. If you really love the sport of football, if you really want to follow these players during the draft, at least follow the players that your team is considering drafting, and you can make your proper assumption. Because sometimes, with certain people and their agendas, and they have relationships with NFL personnel and NFL executives and stuff like that, they're always going to be on the side of the NFL. But let's be honest, man. Shedeur Sanders was done wrong. He was done ill will, and no one can tell anybody who has two eyes and a brain otherwise, because there's no reason why Shedeur Sanders should have fell to fifth. You telling me it's about his personality? That's bullshit. You tell me about his play on the field? That's bullshit. I'm sorry to say. I'm really sorry to say. But if you told me he dropped to the second or third, okay, I could kind of see that, because maybe some people didn't have that. But you trying to tell me Tyler Shook, Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel, all are better quarter? All right, that shows me you can't evaluate talent to me. So it just is what it is. So that's my hell nose.
Yeah, my hell nose are pretty much the same as yours, man. Both of those. So yeah, I ditto everything you just said, sir.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
All right, man. Before we get out of here, play this quick commercial.
Introduce yourself to Magnet, the ultimate sports drink. Are you ready to take your performance to the next level? Do you want a sports drink that eliminates the muscle cramps and fatigue when working out or training? Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. It's power-packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors, because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement, whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Also, use promo code Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. So don't wait. Again, that promo code is Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. Get Magnet, push your limits, fuel your passion.
Shout out to Sports Magnets. Don't forget to hit that QR code, people.
Mm-hmm.
And use our promo code. Also, go to our WWE shop. Click that promo code down there and get all your good merch. You can be the final boss. You can tell your wife to acknowledge me.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell your wife to say yeet or yeah. But just make sure you use our promo code to get, or use our QR code to go do your shopping with WWE. Shop WWE and Fanatic. And if you're going to donate to the Cris Style Mal Podcast, you can donate to our Cash App, Cris Style Mal Podcast. Whatever you want to donate to us, we will greatly appreciate. Whatever streaming platform you use to do your podcast on, we're on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio. So go ahead and follow us on there. Also, if you're a first-time watcher on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 12 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you could jump in the live with us. You could talk about these topics. We want to hear from you. So if you agree with us, disagree with us, go ahead, man. Jump in the live, man. Talk about these topics with us on Mondays and then Wednesdays. And we want to hear from you. And you're listening on the playback, leave a comment in the comment section. But subscribe to the channel. And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, Threads, TikTok, whatever you use to do your social media on, the Cris Style Mal Podcast is available at Cris Style Mal. So follow us. We will follow you back. We're just some regular guys who like to talk sports, music, movies, and all kinds of various other things. So go ahead and follow us. If you have critiques, feedback, or if you have a question or topic that you want us to bring up on the show, you can hit us with DMs via DM, email, or our mentions. If we like said question or topic, we will bring it up on the show. We will shout you out on the show because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and follow us. All right, good people. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your next few days. We will be back Wednesday night to recap the NBA playoffs and other things that are coming up. Probably recap what happened on Monday Night Raw tonight. Make sure you tap into that. And, of course, random news. Maul's random news. You know, he's going to have some flurry of topics, and we'll probably have some other things to bring up too. So tap in with us, and we will see you Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So until then, we out.
Yes, sir.